Chapter 59. After listening to Gao Feng's explanation, although Wei Tai, Wei Qing, and Chen Gu were shocked by their leader's wide network of connections, they still nodded in agreement. They also knew that the strength of the Firehammer squad would soar rapidly in the future. If they couldn't keep up, then at a certain point they could only be abandoned. After that, Luo Feng's group split up in the HR Alliance market and rode the train back home. Yangzhou City, Minghua District. Right now, it was already late at night. A Volkswagen Touareg SUV used by the Dojo of Limits wasn't stopped and entered the district. The Touareg directly stopped in front of the Dojo of Limits. At this time, Chen Gu's, Zhang Ke's, and Luo Feng's families were already gathered in front of the Dojo of Limits. There were also quite a few people like the head of the Dojo of Limits, like Wu Tong. Luo Feng opened the door and got off the car. He immediately saw his father, mother, and his brother in a wheelchair. Brother. Luo Hua was the first to shout. Luo Hua, Dad, Mom. Luo Feng hugged his parents and also hugged his brother. Luo Feng could feel his parents' happiness. Beside them, Chen Gu and Zhang Ke were also with their families. However, Zhang Ke's wife and daughter's faces were full of tears. Although they knew that Zhang Ke had lost his arm, they still cried. Wife, good daughter, I will always be with you in the future, always. Zhang Ke's face showed no sign of sadness. Brother Zhang. Luo Feng glanced at it. Before, the Tiger Fang squad attacked the Firehammer squad because of his grudge with Zhang Zehu, so there's a high chance of this happening. Our dojo's 3 heroes have returned safely. It's getting late, so everyone should rest well. Director Wu Tong laughed. Immediately, the group of people laughed and separated. Luo Feng and his family also returned home. After returning home, Luo Feng could completely relax. On the first day of returning home, Luo Feng didn't train and instead completely relaxed. Wearing a loose exercise suit, he strolled leisurely in the neighborhood alone. His footsteps were naturally light and carefree. Complete relaxation from the mind to the body. In the afternoon, the September sun was still scorching hot. Luo Feng, come to the clubhouse, Chen Gu called. The captain is here. Oh, I'll be right there. Luo Feng immediately rushed to the limit hall. In the bar on the first floor of the limit hall, the curtains on the window were drawn to prevent sunlight from entering. Luo Feng, Chen Gu, and Gao Feng were sitting together. Luo Feng, these are the 2 9 series throwing knives you wanted. Gao Feng smiled and handed it over. It's a total of 45 million. You rich guy, hurry up and transfer it over. If you're willing to pay a little more as an errand fee, I don't mind at all. 9th series throwing knives? Luo Feng immediately received the beautifully packaged box. When he opened the box, he saw that it was divided into 2 layers, with 2 flying knives with black handles and blades respectively placed inside. Before, Chen Gu and the others asked Gao Feng to help them buy some genetic medicine, and Luo Feng asked the captain to help him buy 2 9th series throwing knives. To Luo Feng, a good throwing knife is very important. Be it flying daggers or other weapons, the higher the price, the more exaggerated it became. Flying daggers were cheap because they were small in size and used less materials. Even a high lord rank monster would find it difficult to destroy a 9th series flying knife. Captain, 45 million has been transferred. Luo Feng directly transferred the money through his cell phone. I didn't even pay a single cent more, Gao Feng purposefully said. Luo Feng, since you're so rich now, why don't you buy a good blade? A battle uniform set? Laughed Chen Gu. He was in a great mood after receiving the genetic medicine. Luo Feng shook his head. Throwing knives are light and use very little materials. Only I can afford it. Blade, battle uniform? The full price of a 9th series Blood Shadow saber was 3 billion Chinese dollars. A 9th series battle uniform set is even more ridiculously expensive. The full price is 12 billion Chinese dollars. How can I afford it? The price difference between a warrior, warlord, and war god level weapon is indeed huge. He's only buying throwing knives. A battle uniform that even a horde leader level monster can't tear apart isn't strange at all. As for his advanced warrior level body fitness level, if he's wearing an 8th or 9th series battle uniform, even if the battle uniform isn't torn apart, The impact from the claw of a horde leader-level monster is enough to shatter his organs. Even if this beggar wears a dragon robe, he won't be a prince. For someone with a warrior's body to wear a wargod's battle uniform, it was a waste of the battle uniform. Combat uniforms are much more expensive than flying knives. Gao Feng laughed. Luo Feng is right. His current 5th series battle uniform is more than enough for his body fitness level, Luo Feng said Gao Feng. Luo Feng looked at the captain. Right now, Chungu and the two-way brothers. The three of them needed to consume the gene potions, and for the effects of the gene potions to be fully unleashed, they would need about a month's time. Moreover, after their strength increased, they would also need to go through 1 or 2 months of training to adapt to the greater power. So, we might need to rest for 2 to 3 months. After that, we'll enter the wilderness, Gao Feng said. Chungu also nodded. I understand. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. I'll also take this opportunity to properly train. I also gained a lot from this trip into the wilderness. Come back and think about it. Yes. Gao Feng nodded with a smile. When the time comes, if we want to meet, let's meet in the main city of the base city. It's indeed quite a detour to get here from my house. Sure. Luo Feng and Chungu both nodded. The main city area of the base city is the center of the entire base city. It's very convenient to go from Yangzhou City or any other city. After saying goodbye to the captain, Luo Feng brought the 2 throwing knives home. That night, in Luo Feng's home's training hall, in the middle of the ceiling, there was a transparent glass that was around 1 meter wide. The watery moonlight shone through the glass. Sitting in the training hall, Luo Feng could even see through the glass and see the infinite stars in the sky with a glance. The 2 black throwing knives slowly flew around Luo Feng's body. In my realm of consciousness, there's a dark golden ball. The dark golden ball contains a large amount of spiritual force. However, my body isn't strong enough, so it can't handle the amount of spiritual force, Luo Feng slowly thought to himself. Right now, what I need to do is to use the fastest method to increase the strength of my body fitness level. The stronger my body, the stronger my spiritual force will be, until one day, the dark golden ball runs out and disappears. After that, Luo Feng started to seriously train according to the 9-stage Thunderblade instruction manual and a video that came with it. Technique, Flowing Light. Dao Yin Technique, 9-stage Hun Yuan. Blade Technique, Thunderblade. In the first stage of the Thunderblade, Luo Feng already mastered it in the wilderness. Pu. Late at night, Luo Feng was in the training hall. Whether it was slashes, or slashes, Luo Feng was using the 9-stage Thunder Blade S method of exerting force. Each slash contained 2 different forces, and Luo Feng's muscles also instantly released an extra force each time. While he was chopping, he would instantly release another hidden force. This puts a huge burden on his bones, muscle cells, etc. Tired. After continuously training for 1.5 hours, Luo Feng was so tired that he sat cross-legged on the ground, unable to move. The 9-stage Thunderblade actually puts a huge burden on every part of his body. After resting for 5 minutes, Luo Feng trained his Dao Yin Technique 9-stage Han Yuan. His originally exhausted body felt like it was soaking in a hot spring, making Luo Feng's body feel a bit comfortable. After training his Blade Technique and Dao Yin Technique, finally, Luo Feng started the most primitive, the Wu Xian Xiang Tian genetic energy training method that even the strongest fighters in the world have to refer to. Shishi. Once Luo Feng started training, he felt as if every cell in his body was starving. The newly generated genetic energy was crazily devoured, and his training speed actually increased by a bit. 1 minute, 2 minutes. As time went on, Luo Feng became more and more shocked. Finally, every cell in his body was full, as if they were stuffed and couldn't eat anymore. The amount of genetic energy I absorbed today is almost double what I absorbed before. Luo Feng was completely stunned. The instruction manual said that the more I train in the 9-stage Thunderblade, the more genetic energy I absorb. So it's this much. Luo Feng didn't think it would be this exaggerated. The instruction manual also explained the theory. No matter how hard a person trains, they'll be so tired that they can't move. That's because the muscles produce too much lactic acid, so the muscles are all tired. Many of the cells in the body don't even participate in the exercise. However, Luo Feng's 9-stage Thunderblade exerts force by instantly releasing a hidden force. This force exerts force from deep within the body. All of the cells in the body participate. Just like how, when a person exercises a lot, their appetite increases. When the body cells use up a lot of energy, their appetite also increases, allowing them to eat even more genetic energy. I'm only at the first stage, yet I can absorb this much genetic energy. How fast will I be when I reach the 9th stage? Not only will my training speed be fast, but the power of my blade technique will also increase at a shocking rate. No wonder he's one of the strongest fighters on Earth. He's known as #1 in speed and body. Luo Feng was amazed. What does it mean for his body to improve quickly? It means that the amount of spiritual force Luo Feng can handle will also increase rapidly. From this day onwards, Luo Feng trained himself to the limit. And he also found the best training method, which is to practice the flowing light footwork while swinging his blade. The speed doesn't have to be fast, but every step and blade technique has to be serious. When his footwork and blade technique are exhausted, he will start his Dao Yin technique training. After practicing the Dao Yin technique, his stamina will recover quite a bit. He will start his footwork and blade technique training again. After that, he will start his Dao Yin technique training. Finally, he will start his genetic energy training. This method is the most efficient. The entire process would take about 6 hours. This is the fastest way to improve one's fitness level that Luo Feng figured out. Actually, spirit readers have large amounts of spiritual force to help them, so their bodies already improve quickly. Luo Feng is also training in Earth's ultimate 9-stage Thunderblade, so his improvement speed is even more shocking. Luo Feng is improving almost every day, and in the blink of an eye, almost a month has passed. Who? Every swing of Luo Feng's blade created a sharp, whistling sound in the training hall, and the wind naturally dissipated when it touched the walls of the training hall. This villa was specially built by the Dojo of Limits, so the walls of the training hall were naturally built with care. HM? A call from a captain? Luo Feng walked to the side and picked up the phone. Luo Feng, it's been almost a month. Chenggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing used the genetic medicine, so their strength has pretty much increased. I'm thinking, should we meet up? Gao Feng asked through the phone. Right now, the strongest fighter of the Fire Hammer Squad is Luo Feng, and Luo Feng's position will only solidify in the future. So Gao Feng wanted to hear Luo Feng's opinion first. Sure, long time no see everyone. Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. This month, he was almost addicted to training. However, this rapid improvement process was indeed very satisfying. All right, I think we should go to the HR Alliance market. The service there is the best, said Gao Feng. What do you think? When should we meet up? Okay. Luo Feng suddenly thought of something. He remembered what Su Xian said before. I'm starting school in a few days, but during college, I'll be the manager here on Saturdays and Sundays. Captain, I think we should meet this Saturday, said Luo Feng. Saturday? All right, this Saturday. Chapter 60. October 7th, 2056, Saturday, was also the day the 5 members of the Fire Hammer Squad agreed to meet at the HR Alliance's market. Morning. A beautifully curved sports car, emitting an elegant aura, slowly drove into the plaza of the HR Alliance's market. It directly stopped in front of the lobby of the HR skyscraper. Luo Feng and Chenggu, who were wearing casual clothes, got off the car and were welcomed into the lobby of the first floor by the doorman. All right, please wait a moment, sir. As soon as Luo Feng stepped into the lobby, he saw Su Xian, who was wearing a white shirt like a professional, smiling as she chatted with some fighters. Suddenly, she accidentally saw a shadow walking towards the bar. After looking carefully, Su Xian's eyes couldn't help but to flash with surprise. Luo Feng. Su Xian laughed as she yelled. Su Exan, Luo Feng laughed as he stood by the bar. Give me a cup of pure tea. Oh yeah, do you have time? Let's chat with our old classmates. Su Exine hesitated for a bit, then laughed as she told the waiter beside her. After that, she walked out of the bar and laughed. There aren't many customers here today, so it's not that busy. Let's go Luo Feng over there and chat. At this time, Chenggu, who was sitting on a sofa in the distance, gave Luo Feng a big thumbs up. In a quiet corner of the bar, Luo Feng and Su Xin sat facing each other. Luo Feng, when did you come back from the wilderness last time? Not long ago. Su Xin sat there quietly, holding a cup of tea. The green tea leaves reflected a hint of green light on the transparent teacup. I've been back for a while, replied Luo Feng. Su Xin let out a smile and couldn't help but to laugh. You've been back for so long, and you haven't even come to see your old classmates. Are you looking down on your old classmates? Out of my 3 years of high school, only you, Luo Feng, became a fighter. I've been waiting for the day when you become famous so I can go out and show off. Su Xin, what university are you in right now? Asked Luo Feng. Luo Feng and Su Xin just sat there and casually chatted, talking about their current lives. Even though Luo Feng has a crush on Su Xin, and Su Xin knows that Luo Feng is interested in her, the two of them consciously didn't touch anything and just quietly chatted. Luo Feng was quite satisfied with this seemingly peaceful chat. At this time, a youth wearing a black shirt and black pants walked out of the elevator. He glanced around and saw Su Xin and Luo Feng in the corner of the bar. Who is Xiao Xin chatting with? The youth frowned and looked carefully. It seems to be one of the 3 advanced students in Xion's high school, Luo Feng. He knew a lot about the high school that Su Xin went to, and he's also read about the famous Luo Feng, Zhang Haobai, and a few others. The youth let out a cold smile. A few days ago, when we were eating at home, little Xin even mentioned this Luo Feng. It turns out that both of them have contacted each other. The young man walked to the other side of the bar and sat down silently. Luo Feng felt like he was having a great time chatting with Su Xin. Someone at the bar seemed to be calling Su Xin. Su Xin stood up and said apologetically, Luo Feng, sorry, I have to go do something, don't worry about me. Luo Feng smiled. Little Xin, is this your friend? At this time, a male voice rang. Luo Feng turned his head and saw a handsome youth that looked a bit like Su Xin standing on the side. He smiled as he looked at Su Xin, and then smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. Su Xin said happily, Bro, you came to the market today too. Oh yeah, this is my old classmate, Luo Feng. Bro, I have to go do something so you can chat with Luo Feng. Sure, go ahead, the youth nodded. He turned his head and looked at Luo Feng. Hello, Luo Feng. Let me introduce myself. I am Su Xion's brother, Su Gang brother. If he can get Su Xin, then wouldn't he be his brother-in-law? Hello, Luo Feng also stood up and shook hands with him. Hello, Luo Feng. Su Gang smiled as he sat down. I've heard of your name a long time ago. Apparently, my sister's high school only had 3 advanced students, and you were one of them. And I heard my sister say that you're an official fighter now? Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Ah, that's pretty impressive. An 18-year-old fighter, Su Gang praised, and then smiled. My sister is very low-key in school, right? She's very low-key. No one can tell how rich her family is, Luo Feng also laughed. Su Xin was indeed a simple and quiet girl back then. Su Gang's face was full of smiles. Actually, my grandfather was worried that the missy of the family would become spoiled, so he insisted that she enter a normal school instead of an elite school. He wanted her to experience the life of a normal person up close. Now it seems that my sister is doing quite well. Luo Feng frowned. Missy of the family? He already knew that Su Xin was the missy of the Su family. She didn't tell you about her family situation? Su Gang asked in confusion. She didn't, but I know about the Su family. Luo Feng smiled calmly. This is one of the 12 financial groups of the HR Alliance in the country. Luo Feng could already feel the deep meaning behind Su Gang's words. Su Gang didn't say it himself, and just used another topic to bring out one thing. Su Xin is the Missy of the Su family. Oh, Su Gang sighed. Actually, large families have their own problems. For example, sometimes they can't get what they want when it comes to marriage. Like my sister, there are quite a few excellent young people chasing after her. For example, Wang Xingping from Kyoto City and a 21-year-old intermediate warlord-level fighter Guohai from Jiangnan City, Luo Feng froze. Someone chasing after Su Xin? That Guohai sure is thick-skinned, scolded Su Gang as he shook his head. Isn't he just a warlord-level fighter? He really thinks that he's some kind of joke. Our Su family has some status in the world. So how could we easily let our Missy marry off to a fighter who can't even guarantee his own safety? Who knows when this fighter will die in the wilderness? Luo Feng frowned. Luo Feng, am I right? Fighters walk on the edge of life and death. Who knows when they will die? How could our family let our Missy marry a fighter, right? Laughed Su Gang as he asked. When he saw Luo Feng's expression, he laughed. Oh, don't think too much. I wasn't talking about you. Luo Feng was in a bad mood. Wasn't talking about me? Not to mention anything else, this Su Gang just had to bring this up. He was clearly telling Luo Feng that the Missy of the Su family would never marry a fighter who might die at any time. So you Luo Feng better not think too highly of yourself. Actually, sighed Su Gang, comparatively speaking, I like that Wang Xingping more. Wang Xingping is the young master of the Wang family of Kyoto City. The Wang family also controls a huge amount of wealth. All they need to do is sign documents and issue orders at home. They can get quite a few fighters to work for them without risking their lives. As a brother, of course I want my sister to have a stable life, sighed Su Gang. Compared to fighters, this young master of a huge family with a huge amount of wealth is a good match for my sister fighters. First-class families like the Wang family and my Su family, which one of them doesn't have a group of general-level martial artists under their command. Not to mention the countless warrior-level fighters, laughed Su Gang as he shook his head. From Su Gang's tone, it was clear that he didn't care about fighters at all. He was even more disdainful of warrior-level fighters. He has the ability. The HR Alliance, one of the 12 financial groups of China, does indeed control a large amount of warlord-level fighters and even a sea of warrior-level fighters. Luo Feng, a voice carried from afar. Luo Feng turned his head and saw that Captain Gao Feng and the Wei Jia brothers had already arrived and were sitting with Chun Gu. Luo Feng laughed as he yelled, "Captain, I'm coming, young Master Su Gang," laughed Luo Feng as he looked at Su Gang. Su Gang let out a smile. Actually, after saying so much before, Su Gang believed that Luo Feng understood what he meant. His family doesn't even care about a 21-year-old intermediate warlord-level fighter. You, Luo Feng, just became a fighter, so you should know your place and stop bothering my sister. Young Master Su Gang, your Su family sure is amazing to be able to control a bunch of warlord-level fighters, said Luo Feng with a smile. Luo Feng smiled. However, I don't know if your Su family can get a war god fighter to come and go as you please. Su Gang froze. War god fighter? How many are there in Jiangnan City? His Su family does have a war god fighter, but that's only because his Su family used a large amount of money and connections to entice them. I wonder if your Su family can meet an existence that surpasses the war god level, said Luo Feng. Su Gang's face turned ugly. Existences that surpass the war god level, like the world's strongest fighter, Hong, are existences that are treated as equals by an entire country's army. Even if his family wants to meet these fighters that stand at the peak of the world, they don't have the right to do so. And don't even mention comparing them to these fighters. Compared to Hong, Thunder God, and other existences at the peak, the Su family is just an ant. Young Master Su Gang, since we're friends, let me remind you, don't look down on fighters. Luo Feng looked at Su Gang. Su Gang didn't give him face, so why should he give him face? After saying that, Luo Feng turned around and left. The air conditioner in the living room was cool, and the music was gentle like a flowing stream. However, Luo Feng's heart was filled with fire. Families like the Wang family and my Su family, which one of them doesn't have a group of warlord-level fighters under their command. And don't even mention the countless warrior-level fighters. Su Gang's words kept echoing in Luo Feng's mind. Su Gang, aren't you just saying all this to make me back off and not chase after your sister? Luo Feng's gaze was ice-cold. Don't worry, Luo Feng will definitely reach the peak of fighters in this life. A fighter that will be treated as equals by the government and the army. When that time comes, I'll make your Su family welcome me with a smile. Of course, he's going to chase Su Exine. However, he still wants the Su family to welcome him with a smile and lower themselves to welcome him. Fighters are the ultimate power in this world. Families and organizations, in front of the most powerful fighters, are just trash. At this moment, the morning of October 7th, 2056, Luo Feng's first contact with Su Gang caused Luo Feng's ambition to start growing. Chapter 61. As he watched Luo Feng leave, Su Gang raised the wine cup in his hand and took a sip. He thought to himself, Luo Feng, I've been tactful enough in saying so much to you and giving you face. I hope you know your place. If you pester my sister again in the future, don't blame me for taking action. Su Gang smiled and drank the wine in his cup in one gulp. Xiao Xian, I have something to do, so I'll be leaving first. Su Gang said goodbye to Su Exine at the bar and left the hall. On the third floor of the HR Alliance shopping center, in a private room of a tea house, Luo Feng, Chenggu laughed. That Su Exine chatted with you for so long. In my opinion, that young lady is also interested in you. It won't be hard for you to win her heart. Moreover, Su Exine's brother chatted with you for such a long time. Could it be that he's taken a fancy to you, his brother-in-law? Did she fancy her brother-in-law? Luo Feng laughed. Brother Chen didn't hear what Su Exine's brother, Su Gang, said. Don't talk nonsense. It's mainly because Su Exine and I used to be classmates, laughed Luo Feng. Gao Feng couldn't help but laugh. Since she's an old classmate, it's even easier to woo her. Don't you see, how many of the couples who got married now used to be old classmates? Right, Luo Feng put in more effort. Wei Tai also wished for the world to be in chaos as he chuckled. That lady Su Exine is really not bad. There are many people in the martial arts circle who praise this underground alliance's first-floor lobby bar. The female manager on Saturday and Sunday is not bad. All the perverts want to play with this female manager. But they found out that Su Exine's background is not small, so they didn't dare to make a move. Luo Feng laughed. Play with the eldest daughter of the Su family? People with such thoughts would probably not even know how they died. Captain, let's not talk about this. Luo Feng smiled. Let's talk business. Gao Feng smiled. You three, tell me, what level is your physical fitness now? Wei Tai put down his teacup and was the first to speak. Captain, my current fist strength is about 9,650 kilograms, and my speed is 102 meters per second. My nerve reaction test is qualified beginner warlord level. Yes, I have entered the beginner warlord level. Gao Feng nodded. Captain, Wei Qing also said, my fist strength is about 9,510 kilograms, and my speed is 106 meters per second. My nerve reaction test is qualified as a junior warlord. Gao Feng and Luo Feng slightly nodded. Haha, my turn. Chenggu chuckled. My fist strength is about 7,100 kilograms. My speed is 81 meters per second, and my nerve reaction test is excellent beginner warlord level. Brother Chen's reaction speed is so fast, Luo Feng couldn't help but to compliment. Gao Fengyi smiled and said, he's a gun user, and his reaction speed has always been very fast. After consuming the gene potion, his reaction speed became even faster. Looks like I can use a faster gun. It was very rare for a martial artist who used firearms to be qualified as a junior warlord in terms of reflexes. Not to mention that Chun Gu's reaction was excellent beginner warlord level. Good. For the three of you, the effects of the gene potions are still acceptable. Gao Feng looked at Wei Tai and Wei Qing. Wei Tai, you two brothers still have to continue working hard. Although it had been almost a month, the effects of the gene potion had yet to dissipate completely. If you work hard in your cultivation, you will be able to dig out some. Understood. Wei Tai and Wei Qing nodded. Gao Feng looked at Chenggu. Old Chun, you should change a machine gun. Yes, I should. Chingu nodded. Chingu's firearms were a machine gun and a heavy sniper rifle. The machine gun's maximum speed was 300 bullets per minute, which is an average of 5 bullets per second. With Chun-Gu's reaction speed in the past, out of the 5 bullets he fired in a second, 4 of them could hit the heads of the 4 monsters, and 1 of them could hit the body of the 5th monster. In other words, for Chun-Gu, a machine gun's fire was basically a burst fire. This required an extremely terrifying reaction speed. Chun-Gu's reaction speed was hundreds or thousands of times faster than people before the Grand Nirvana period, so it wasn't strange for him to do this. I'm preparing to get an RG-112 heavy machine gun. It has a caliber of 7 millimeters and is extremely powerful. Chun-Gu's eyes flashed. It can fire 1,500 bullets per minute. This machine gun could be considered the fastest machine gun used by a hot weapon martial artist. If it's any faster, then it's pointless. In this era, machine guns can fire 700 to 800 bullets per minute, and some can even fire over 10,000 bullets per minute. However, the utilization rate was too low. With Chun-Gu's current reaction speed, he could shoot out 10 bullets in 1 second. He could control the 10 bullets to hit the monster's head. This was efficiency. After old Chun buys his own gun, he should familiarize himself with it and ponder over the gun's characteristics. Gao Feng nodded with a smile. Wei Tai, you and your brothers should also train hard at home. Although your body's quality has improved, you must try your best to convert your body's quality into powerful fighting strength. Try your best to use every bit of strength. Don't worry, Captain. Wei Tai and Wei Qing nodded. Luo Feng let out a smile. This was the way of thinking of the Chinese martial artists. They had to find a way to unleash 10% of their strength. Controlling strength, using little effort to overcome 1,000 caddies, and so on were Oriental ideas, which were different from Westerners. And now, the strongest person in the world, Hong, was a Chinese. The second strongest person in the world, God of Thunder, was a mixture of Eastern and Western blood, and he also had Chinese blood in him. Some of the ideas of Chinese martial arts were indeed very popular among the world's martial artists. Captain, Brother Chun, Brother Tai, Brother Qing. Luo Feng looked towards him and smiled. I trained hard at home for a month, and my body strength increased quite a bit. However, I feel that my technique, blade technique, etc. still improves the most when I fight against monsters. No matter how much you train your blade technique at home, you're just imagining your enemies. How could training your blade technique compare to actually fighting against monsters? So, I'm preparing to enter the wilderness alone and train my technique, said Luo Feng. What alone? Gao Feng, Chun-Gu, and the others' faces changed. Yeah, Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. Actually, he had this thought for a long time, but it wasn't firm enough. Su Gang's words from before moved him. If you want to become a powerful fighter that stands at the peak of the world, then you can't slack off at all. So Luo Feng decided to increase his strength as much as possible. That's too dangerous, said Gao Feng. No, Captain. I'm only preparing to train my blade technique in the number 0231 country beside the military sector, explained Luo Feng. I won't be going to any other big cities. Number 0231 country? The one beside the military sector? Gao Feng, Chun-Gu, and the Wei brothers all heaved a sigh of relief. The monsters around the military base were weak to begin with. Monsters like the Lord Tier did not dare to stay in the county town next to the military base. So, in the counties next to the military area, there were pretty much all soldier-level monsters. There weren't many commander-level monsters, and most of them were low-level commander-level monsters. Even middle-level commander-level monsters were rare. Because there aren't many commander-level monsters, each low-level commander-level monster can command hundreds or even thousands of soldier-level monsters. Commander-level monsters are rare, and they usually come in large groups. How could a martial artist squad kill them? In other words, generally, a slightly more powerful martial artist team would not even bother to stay in a county town like this because there was no profit to be made. Anyway, that county is close to the military. Luo Feng laughed. I'm preparing to go hunting and practice my blade skills in the day, then return to the resupplying base to rest at night. Because of the short distance and Luo Feng's fast speed, he could naturally go back and forth between the city and the resupply base. That number 0231 city doesn't have any strong commander-level monsters, but there are a lot of normal soldier-level monsters. Wei Tai couldn't help but say, "Once we're surrounded, Tai Zi, is Luo Feng afraid of being surrounded?" laughed Chingu. Wei Tai and Wei Qing were startled, then they laughed. Beast hordes are scary, but spirit readers are a group of people who are least afraid of beast hordes. Not only do they fight head-on, but spirit readers can also use their spirit force to jump to a nearby building. The jumping power of monsters is also very shocking, but how can it compare to a spirit reader who can borrow strength from the air? That's a good idea. Gao Feng couldn't help but appraise Luo Feng. "You've convinced me to go train my hammer technique, but I don't have the ability to survive in a herd of beasts." "Luo Feng, when are you preparing to leave?" asked Chingu. "There's no time to lose. I'll go back and prepare today." "We'll leave tomorrow," laughed Luo Feng. "Captain, when you guys are preparing to enter the wilderness, send me a message. The path of an expert relied on bitter cultivation step by step to reach the peak." Chapter 62. Since he decided to enter the wilderness, Luo Feng obviously wouldn't hesitate. That afternoon, when he returned to Yangzhou's Mingyue sector, Luo Feng told his parents and brother about it. Ever since Luo Feng chose to become a free fighter, his father and the others have been prepared for Luo Feng to leave the headquarters city frequently. At night, starlight shone through the square glass into the training hall. On the white wall of the training hall, there was a video being projected. In the video, a figure was fighting a giant bear-like monster that was about 8 or 9 meters tall in the forest. Wherever the man and the monster fought, the thick trees collapsed, the rocks cracked, and the earth cracked. It was a terrible scene that looked like the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. The figure's speed was as fast as lightning, and the saber light carried the faint sound of thunder. The explanation in the video echoed in the training hall. This was one of the videos in the CD of the Ninefold Thunderblade manual. It's a monster that has reached the A grade, the Rock Bear Emperor. With such a huge body, its movement speed can actually reach the speed of sound. Luo Feng listened to the explanation, his heart filled with shock. This was a video of an elite practitioner of the 9-stage Thunderblade fighting against an A-grade monster, the Great Rock Bear Supreme. The Great Rock Bear Supreme was ranked second among bear-type monsters. According to the distribution of ranks, level H, level G, and level F are all soldier level. E rank, D rank, and C rank are all commander-level beasts. They are respectively beginner, intermediate, and high. B class, A class, S class, and finally Overlord class. As an intermediate lord, this boulder bear was extremely strong. Its rock-like skin was even harder than diamond. Even large-caliber artillery shells could not penetrate it. With such a huge body, it could actually move at the speed of sound. Of course, when it came to Lord-class monsters, reaching the speed of sound was nothing. However, when the boulder black bear swung its paw, its speed was much faster than its speed. Boom! After fighting for a long time, a thunderous sound rang out. The huge head of the boulder black bear was sent flying. Is the video ready? When the disc is sold, don't forget to pay me the royalties. The ridiculing voice of the super expert who killed the boulder black bear came from the speakers next to the training hall. As for the face of this super powerful being, it was obvious that it had been altered. It was blurry and indistinguishable. Ka! The video ended, and the projection screen on the wall returned to the start menu page. There is a large list of videos on the menu page. When will I be able to reach this level? Even a boulder black bear could be cut in half with one slash. Luo Feng thought within. This absolute warrior's battle with the boulder bear was recorded on video. Obviously, he had enough confidence to be able to kill the boulder bear so easily. He's probably an advanced level war god. Many of the videos on the CD of the 9-stage Thunderblade were banned from the internet. There were many videos of top experts fighting, and they were all experts who cultivated the 9-stage Thunderblade. However, out of so many videos, only one was of Thor himself. The content of Thunder God's video was of Thunder God practicing his blade alone in the training hall. Luo Feng couldn't see anything special about that simple scene of him practicing his blade. Clearly, there are quite a few powerful fighters who train in the 9-stage Thunderblade. Luo Feng raised his head and looked at the sky. Through the glass window, he could see the endless space outside. Tomorrow, he would have to start his training. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. He turned off the projector in the training hall and walked to the first floor. The door to his brother's room wasn't completely closed. With a glance, Luo Feng saw his brother sitting in a wheelchair in front of his computer. However, his brother's gaze wasn't on the computer. Instead, he was playing with his cell phone. Luo Feng lightly knocked on the door. Luo Hua raised his head and saw Luo Feng outside the door. He couldn't help but to say helplessly, "Bro, you're not knocking anymore?" "You probably didn't close the door properly." Luo Feng smiled as he pushed the door open and closed it. "What are you doing? Texting with your girlfriend?" Yeah, Luo Hua let out a smile, laughed, and nodded. Luo Feng saw his brother's silly look and understood that he really likes that girl named Nan. As for what this Nan is like, Luo Feng isn't sure. However, when his parents pushed his brother to the park, they both saw Nan, and their impressions of her were pretty good. In terms of judging a person's character, his parents are clearly better than him. Since his parents think she's good, then she's probably really good. "Did Nan bring you to meet her parents?" asked Luo Feng. "Not yet." Luo Hua smiled as he shook his head. Nan is only in her first year of university. She still has 3 to 4 years before she graduates. Nan isn't in a rush to tell her parents. And I'm a cripple. Nan needs to think of a way to tell her parents in a roundabout way. Telling them directly will be troublesome. After all, most parents don't want their daughter to marry a cripple. Seeing the bitterness on his brother's face, Luo Feng felt a bit of pain in his heart. Being crippled has always been a scar in his brother's heart. No matter how strong he is in front of Nan, his brother always has that bit of self-confidence. Or a bit of inferiority. "Yeah, take it slow. I'm sure her parents are very understanding," comforted Luo Feng. "There's no rush anyway." After chatting with his brother for a long time that night, Luo Feng had a good night's rest. The next morning, he equipped himself to the teeth, carried his bag, shield, and blade, and once again started his journey towards the wilderness. And this time, Luo Feng was alone. Jiangnan Headquarters City, Northern Military Sector. When the train stopped at this military sector station, Luo Feng and a group of fighters got out of the carriage. The wilderness. Luo Feng took in a deep breath and walked along the fighter tunnel towards the resupplying base. Soon enough, the resupplying base appeared in his line of sight. "Luo Feng, just you?" At the entrance of the base, the guard looked at the information displayed by the scanner and looked towards Luo Feng with shock. "You were with the Fire Hammer Squad before. How come you're alone?" "It's very dangerous to go into the wilderness alone." "Haha, do I want to die?" "I've been in the wilderness before, so I know how dangerous it is." "Hurry up and give me the key," laughed Luo Feng. "True, you've been to the wilderness before, so you know how dangerous it is." The guard smiled as he handed over a key. "H322, you're alone. So you've been given a small villa. The Fire Hammer Squad was given a rather large villa when they were a team, so naturally, the place he lives in is much smaller." "Oh yeah, my last name is Wang, so you could just call me Brother Wang. If you find any monster materials, Luo Feng, you're welcome to sell them to me. I'll definitely give you a satisfactory price." Sure, Luo Feng took the key and headed towards his living quarters. In the resupplying base, beside the second-floor window of one of the villas, a few men were watching Luo Feng from afar. "It's Luo Feng. It's Luo Feng from the Fire Hammer Squad. Captain, should we find a chance to kill him?" The one speaking was precisely a member of the Tiger Fong Squad, Zhang Zehu. The Tiger Fong captain walked to the window and silently looked down. Luo Feng quickly walked out of his field of vision. The Tiger Fong captain coldly said, "How come it's just Luo Feng? Where are the other members of the Fire Hammer Squad? Have you seen them?" "We didn't see anything either." The other members also shook their heads. "Just Luo Feng alone," Zhang Zehu said with certainty. "I saw him come in from the main entrance of the supply base. I didn't see anyone else." Immediately after, Zhang Zehu's eyes lit up. "Captain, last time we attacked the Fire Hammer Squad. What's worse is that the Fire Hammer Squad already knows that we were the ones behind it. We're already mortal enemies with them. You also said that this enemy must be eliminated to prevent them from threatening us in the future. Yes. The others also nodded. Ambushing people in the wilderness isn't scary. What's scary is that they don't die and find a real culprit. Don't rush. The Tiger Fawn captain said coldly. Enemies must be eliminated. If we have the chance, we'll definitely eliminate this Firehammer squad. However, right now Luo Feng is alone. He's just a regular warrior level fighter. Since he entered the wilderness by himself, he'll definitely stay in a safer place. Once we kill him, it won't do us much good. Instead, it'll alert the enemy. The other members slightly nodded. The captain's words made sense. The biggest threat to us in the Firehammer squad is actually the Twin Wind Hammer's Gao Feng. The Tiger Fawn captain said seriously, this Gao Feng's own strength is pretty high, not much weaker than mine. And he's been roaming for over 10 years, so he has a lot of connections. He knows quite a few powerful fighters. If he really wants to fight us, we'll be in big trouble. So if we don't make a move, then we'll kill Gao Feng first. After that, we'll get rid of those small fries, the Tiger Fawn captain said indifferently. Clearly, this Tiger Fawn captain didn't care about the other members of the Firehammer squad. Captain is right, Zhang Zehu nodded. After that, he laughed coldly and glanced downstairs. Then we'll let this small fry Luo Feng live for a while. In the villa of resupplying base, H322, there were a total of 3 rooms, 2 living rooms, and a gigantic bathroom. Luo Feng took off his battle uniform and took a shower in the bathroom. After that, he put on his loose pajamas. Hey, give me 3 dishes and 1 soup for meal number 12. Also, change the drinks to tea. Luo Feng hung up and laid on the sofa. After eating lunch, I'll head toward number 0231 country level city. Luo Feng suddenly had an idea. This time, I'll train hard for around 2 months. In these 2 months, I'll go back and forth between the resupplying base and the country level city. Who knows when I'll meet the Tiger Fawn squad. Once I find them, I'll follow them. As he thought about how the enemy wanted to eliminate his squad, Luo Feng's heart was filled with endless killing intent. There was no hesitation in this killing intent. When we're in the wilderness, I'll directly kill them. Luo Feng's gaze swept outside through the window. Tiger Fawn squad. I hope I can meet you guys in these 2 months. Luo Feng didn't care about the Tiger Fawn squad at all. With his current strength, he can sweep the Tiger Fawn squad. Chapter 63. After eating lunch, Luo Feng put on his battle uniform and carried 8 6 series throwing knives and 2 9 series throwing knives on the outside of his thighs. He carried his hexagonal shield and blade on his back and left the fighter resupplying base. Today, the sky was gloomy. The weather sure is cool. Luo Feng didn't pull out his blade and just strode forward in the wilderness. The wilderness in front of him may have been fertile land in the past, but after a few dozen years, it's filled with weeds now. Luo Feng found a path with shorter weeds and continued forward. After passing through the wilderness and following the old highway for half an hour, he arrived at number 0231 country level. Pu. Luo Feng cut open the tail of a mastiff tiger and put the tendon in his bag. Even though the distance from the resupplying base to the country level was only around 100 miles, Luo Feng has already killed around 10 regular soldier-level monsters. I get free sparring every day, and I can even earn money. Where else can I find something like this? Luo Feng slightly smiled as he walked in a ruined residential sector. There were quite a few monsters hiding in this desolate sector. Luo Feng raised his head and saw a monster's silhouette on the 3rd floor of a residential building in front of him. Let's officially start training. Luo Feng ferociously stomped on the ground, and with a rumble, the cement ground cracked open. He shot towards the balcony on the 3rd floor like a cannonball. The day of slaughter begins. Time passed day by day. Ever since Luo Feng hit number 0231 country level, the large amount of monsters in the city suffered. Luo Feng didn't directly kill them like other fighters. Instead, he fought with the monsters first, using them as sparring partners, and then attacking. Every time, Luo Feng would bring a bulging bag of important monster materials into the resupplying base. Wang Wei, who was in the resupplying base, was also shocked at Luo Feng's efficiency. The third day of Luo Feng's training. Looks like you killed 198 monsters today, a dozen less than yesterday. And most of them were high-level soldier level. I'll give you the odd one. 5 million. How's that? The seventh day of Luo Feng's training. F*CK, Luo Feng, you're crazy. You killed another 210 today? I'll give you 6 million. This isn't the first time we've traded. Brother, let me tell you, killing regular soldier-level monsters isn't that easy. A lot of soldier-level monsters come in groups, so it's impossible for you to be so successful every time. Be careful not to get surrounded by a group of monsters. Luo Feng's 16th day of training. Madman, you're just SOSO today. You only killed 182, but the quality of the materials is pretty good, and there are also snake-type monsters. I'll give you 5 million. Luo Feng's 21st day of training. Lunatic, tell me, did you discover a place where there are only lone soldier-level monsters? And after you kill one, another one pops up? The martial artist supply base was only so big. There was no way to hide it. Luo Feng's story quickly spread throughout the entire supply base. A madman who only knows how to kill normal soldier-level monsters to earn money. As the saying goes, quantity makes up for quality. A low-level commander might be worth more than 10 million, but 1,000 high-level soldier-level beasts would be able to catch up. However, killing 1,000 high-level soldier-level monsters is even harder than killing a low-level commander-level monster. It was extremely rare for a soldier-level monster to travel alone. Most of them moved in groups. That crazy Luo Feng, he's way too vicious when killing soldier-level monsters. How does he manage to kill so many of them every day? Who knows? Who would be willing to tell this secret? However, I heard that he can earn around 1 million, close to 2 million a day. At this rate, he can earn around 50 to 60 million a month. In a year, that's around 5 to 600 million. He's comparable to a powerful warlord-level fighter, crazily killing soldier-level monsters every day for 365 days a year. Even a human can't handle that, no idea. Anyways, that madman has been like this for over a month. There were countless people discussing Luo Feng in the supply base. For the warrior-level fighters, they were very envious of Luo Feng. This was because the warrior-level fighters aren't good at making money. Even advanced-level fighters like Zhang Zhe, Hu, and Wei Chong only earn around 50 to 60 million a year. For the low and intermediate-level fighters, it's already pretty good if they can earn 10 million a year. And Luo Feng earns around 50 to 60 million a month. Crazy. Of course, for the warlord-level fighters. They wouldn't be so bored as to waste their time like this. As for the powerful war gods that occasionally enter the supply base, they would only sigh. This kid sure is crazy. Interesting, November 29th, 2056. The sky was gloomy and the wind was howling. And on the first floor of a supermarket, dozens of gigantic horned boars were roaring as they continuously attacked a human youth in the middle. The roars continuously reverberated throughout the supermarket, and some of the shelves were smashed into smithereens. The horned boars were completely crazy as they crazily attacked. And this human youth had a hexagonal shield in one hand and a ghost blade in the other. He was like a butterfly flying through a flower as he swiftly swayed, creating a few blurry afterimages. One word: fast. Attack. Luo Feng, who was constantly dodging, suddenly moved the ghost blade in his hand. At this moment, there was a faint sound of thunder. Oh, to be more accurate, the sound of the air vibrating when the speed of the blade reaches a certain level. Every blade sliced through the neck of the horned boar with incomparable precision. Combined with his footwork, the power was even more shocking. Even though there were many horned boars, only 2 or 3 of them could attack Luo Feng at the same time. And every time he killed 1 or 2, Luo Feng could always use the bodies of the dead monsters to find a gap and avoid being hit by the monster horde. This precise control over space is something that most warlord-level fighters can't compare to. Pu. The blood of the horned boars sprayed out like water. In just a moment, more than half of the dozens of horned boars died. The remaining 10 or so horned boars saw that the situation wasn't good and ran away. This won't do. It's not high-level soldier level. It's not worth much from the corpses of the horned boars. Luo Feng picked 19 high-level soldier-level monsters and cut off their horns before putting them into his bag. If I sell these high-level soldier-level horns to the Underground Alliance, I'll be able to sell them for around $8,000. As for the other horned boar corpses, Luo Feng was too lazy to care about them. Actually, Luo Feng didn't really like picking the horns of the horned boars, because the horns were quite heavy and the price was only average. His bag was only so big after all. So Luo Feng was very picky when he picked the materials. The number of monsters he killed every day was over 300. There's nothing he could do about it because those boar and dog-type monsters have such high reproductive abilities. After leaving the supermarket that reeked of blood, Luo Feng came to the rooftop of a normal 6-story apartment building and sat down to rest. After over 50 days of training, my technique can barely be considered to be at the Ruwei level, Luo Feng concluded. Luo Feng concluded that his daily training wasn't for the sake of killing. Every time he fought against a small monster horde, Luo Feng would first train his technique and then kill them. Even so, Luo Feng's efficiency was high. Of course, in these 50 days, Luo Feng met with danger around 20 times. Since the roars of the monsters during the process of killing would occasionally attract more monsters, Luo Feng could only use his spiritual force to escape when facing the mad charge of hundreds or even thousands of monsters. You can say that without his spiritual force, Luo Feng would have died around 20 times. But because of his spiritual force, Luo Feng was able to crazily train his technique like this. Every day, for over 8 hours, large amounts of monsters would crazily attack him. Luo Feng's training efficiency in one day surpasses that of a regular fighter's training in the wilderness for a month. And how many times does a regular fighter enter the wilderness in a year? After these 50 days of training, along with the 9-stage Thunderblade-esque flowing light technique, Luo Feng finally barely stepped into the Ruwei level. My technique has stepped into the Ruwei level. However, my blade technique is still the first stage. The Thunderblade, Luo Feng has been trying to release 2 more layers of dark energy. Unfortunately, he can only release 1 more layer of dark energy on top of his basic attack. However, Luo Feng's precise control over his body's strength has increased by who knows how many times. Keep in mind that, in these 50 days, Luo Feng killed around 10,000 monsters. Around 10,000 monsters. Most fighters probably wouldn't be able to kill this many monsters in their entire life. With such a large number, Luo Feng's precise, clean blade technique was created. Luo Feng's biggest contribution in these 50 days was experience. Experience from battles of life and death, as well as his shocking calmness and judgment. Now, he could calmly find an opportunity between life and death, and then strike. This was an ability that every cultivator of the refinement stage could definitely achieve. It's already 5 p.m. Time to go back. Luo Feng looked at his tactical communications watch, carried his backpack, and directly jumped off the rooftop. After a while, Luo Feng, who was walking on the highway, was in a pretty good mood. Suddenly, Luo Feng felt a slight vibration behind him. He couldn't help but to turn his head and look. He saw 3 figures running in a panic in the north of the highway. Sometimes they ran, and sometimes they jumped over a dozen meters. These 3 figures were extremely fast. The one running in front is that Wandong. Luo Feng immediately recognized that one of the 3 people running in a panic was Wandong, the only person who could stand shoulder to shoulder with him in the fighter combat exam. And behind them was a black mass of monsters. Each monster was only around 30 centimeters in size, slightly larger than a person's palm. However, these little monsters formed a tide-like monster horde, causing Wandong and the other 2 to throw away their blades and shields and run for their lives. Rat horde! Luo Feng was shocked. A rat horde is also known as a rat calamity. Even a war god level fighter will die, for sure if he's surrounded by an endless rat horde. Chapter 64. This black rat tide doesn't seem to be endless. It's wide enough to cover the entire highway, but it's only 100 meters long. With each rat monster being 30 centimeters long, there are definitely tens of thousands of monsters in this rat tide. This is already a small rat tide. Even warlord level fighters will be devoured and killed. So Luo Feng only has one choice. Run! Luo Feng immediately sprinted on the highway. Who? One Dong and the other two threw away their blades, shields, and other weapons as they sprinted. The rat tide behind them continued to close in. The distance between them and them decreased from 20 meters to 15 meters, 14 meters, 13 meters. F*CK. Why isn't the army here yet? If they don't come soon, we're dead for sure, one Dong and the others cursed in their hearts. They clenched their teeth and sped up. The distance between them and the rat tide once again increased to around 30 meters. Only then did one Dong and the other two slightly slow down. I can't run anymore. Me too. One Dong and the other two looked at each other in pain and helplessness. Their maximum running speed is much faster than the rat tide. However, since they're running at their maximum speed, they won't be able to last for long. Just like the humans before the Grand Nirvana period, running 100 meters in 10 seconds was already considered extremely fast. 100 meters takes around 10 seconds. But what about 1,000 meters? Can 100 seconds do it? 10,000 meters? Could it be that 1,000 seconds is enough? In reality, before the Grand Nirvana period, the record for a man's 10,000 meters was around 1,580 seconds. These fighters are the same. For example, one Dong and the others can instantly reach 60 meters per second, but they've been running for around half an hour. They can barely maintain a speed of 40 meters per second. Once the rat tide nears, they'll push themselves to the limit and run even faster. Up until now, one Dong and the others had already run for about 300 miles. One can imagine how tired they are. The army, hurry up and come. This place is really close to the military sector. Why isn't the army here yet? One Dong and the other two felt like their legs had lost all feeling. The extreme fatigue in their muscles made them unable to speed up, and Luo Feng maintained a shocking speed of 60 meters per second as he sprinted forward with his blade and shield on his back. Since one Dong and the other two used up a lot of energy, Luo Feng is at his peak. Luo Feng was already quite a distance away from the rat tide, so he quickly left them behind. Luo Feng saw a dark blue silhouette in the distant horizon. At first glance, he thought it was a flying monster. Only when the dark blue flying object neared did Luo Feng see it clearly. It was a flying saucer-shaped, flat, and circular flying fighter. Right now, most of the fighter jets in the military were flat and round, because if they ran into flying monsters in the air, it was good for defense and offense. Army, it's a military fighter jet. One Dong and the other two, who were exhausted to the extreme, actually let out excited howls, and each of them actually increased their speed once again. Luo Feng, who was running, also stopped. He raised his head and saw that the fighter jet was actually diving towards the horde of beasts. When it was 100 meters away from the ground, the fighter jet just happened to hover above the horde of beasts. With Luo Feng's vision, he could clearly see a gigantic cannon protruding from the belly of the fighter jet. Rumble! An endless amount of blazing flames shot out from the cannon, directly enveloping the rat tide below. The temperature of the flames was at least a few thousand degrees, and a large number of rat beasts were burnt to death. Suddenly, the originally orderly rat tide completely collapsed. They screamed in fear and ran in all directions. However, under the enveloping flames, most of the rat beasts were burnt to death. Some of the rat beasts escaped into the fields beside the highway and directly disappeared. Fighters, a level 3 rat tide has erupted in the surrounding 1,000 miles. Fighters, please hurry back to the resupply base. You can enter the wilderness after the rat tide alert is over. A voice carried from the fighter jet. A voice came from the fighter jet. Then, the fighter jet quickly flew away to save the other warriors. Wan Dong and the other two let out a sigh of relief. We got our lives back. Just a little bit more, and we're done for. The three of them were extremely tired. Luo Feng, Wan Dong couldn't help but to yell towards the distance. Do you have anything to eat? Give me something to eat. Drink? Luo Feng, who was in the distance, also smiled as he walked over. The Wan Dong in front of him didn't have any of his usual coldness. All he had was fatigue and the joy of surviving a disaster. Running for close to 300 miles while on the line between life and death is extremely taxing on his stamina. Luo Feng took out a bag from the side pocket of his backpack and took out 3 pills. These are 3 high-energy sugar pills. Oh, and here's a water bag. Once Luo Feng handed it over, Wan Dong and the other two immediately swallowed 1 high-energy sugar pill each. The water bag was also quickly emptied. Luo Feng, thanks, said Wan Dong gratefully. Let me introduce you. This one beside me is called Wang Ku. The other one is called Jiang Tu. I've heard of Crazy Luo's name for a long time. The handsome Wang Ku laughed as he said, Crazy Luo, this high-energy sugar pill of yours tastes even better than delicacies. I was starving, but now I feel much better. The bearded Jiang Tu also chuckled. Luo Feng chatted with Wan Dong and the other two as they walked. How did you guys encounter the rat tide? That fighter jet said it was a level 3 rat tide. Luo Feng City was too close to the military, so he didn't personally experience the rat tide. I finally witnessed the power of the rat tide. Wan Dong couldn't help but say, before this, we were resting on the rooftop of a residential building in the county town. But suddenly, a large number of rat beasts appeared all over the county town. It was truly an endless horde. We were so scared that we immediately used the steel wire to escape from one building to another. We didn't dare to go to the ground. Luo Feng was shocked. He could completely imagine the scene of countless rat beasts appearing on the ground of the city. Fortunately, our team is in the outskirts of the county. We clenched our teeth and ran as fast as we could along a small path with fewer rat beasts. On the way, we encountered a rat tide. Left with no other choice, our team could only split up and run to divert the rat tide. We were lucky. When we ran to the highway, it was only a small wave of rats chasing us. On the way, Wang Ku and I met Jiang Tuesday. His experience was similar to ours. Wan Dong smiled bitterly and said, I wonder how Captain and the others are doing now. In places like streets and alleys, they dare to split up and run so that the rat tide would split up to chase them. However, they didn't dare to do so on the highway because there were barren fields beside the highway. In these barren fields, humans have to slow down their running speed. And the environment of the barren fields doesn't affect the speed of the rat beasts much. This is also why everyone only ran on the highway and didn't enter the barren fields. Luo Feng and the others arrived at the fighter resupplying base in the military sector. At this time, a large group of fighters gathered at the entrance of the resupplying base. Crazy, I knew you wouldn't die. Crazy, did you see old Lu and the others in number 0231 country level? As they walked into the resupplying base, quite a few fighters who knew Luo Feng came to ask and greet him. After all, a rat tide is extremely dangerous. Thankfully, it's only a level 3 rat tide, so it's not too dangerous. If it was the legendary level 1 rat tide, then it would be a disaster for the entire Jiangnan headquarters city. Old Wang, did my captain and the others come back? Wan Dong immediately went to ask someone. Didn't see them. Your captain and the others didn't come back, so there's no record here. Today was destined to be a sad day for the resupplying base. On this day, quite a few fighters outside lost their lives. Out of the 3 war god fighters that entered the wilderness today, one of them was surrounded by the endless rat tide and fell into the ocean of the rat tide. The rat tide's frenzied attacks, actually, killed a war god. That's right, today, a human war god had fallen. Not only did the rat tide have soldier-level rat beasts, but there were also commander-level rat beasts. And the leader of the rat tide has extremely high intelligence. Once they choose their target, they'll do whatever it takes. It's said that during the human-war god struggle, dozens of skyscrapers were destroyed and over 1 million rat beasts died. Sadly, Over 1 million rat beasts were nothing compared to the rat tide that numbered in the trillions. Thus, this war god died. Rumble, the dark clouds rolled, and the wind swept across the land. Sometimes thunder would roar, and with the sound of thunder, a torrential rain would pour down. On the balcony of a villa in the resupplying base, Luo Feng sat on the balcony. "Captain, I'm fine. My luck is pretty good. I wasn't surrounded by the rat tide. Brother Chun, okay, I'm fine. Brother Taiha, you heard my voice. Of course I'm alive, and well, Luo Feng received quite a few phone calls. Clearly, the large amount of fighters in Jiangnan City know about the level 3 rat tide that happened in the surrounding area. Every time a rat tide, or the even more terrifying ant tide, occurs, human fighters suffer heavy losses. This time, a human war god died, which is a great loss to the entire Jiangnan City. So many people died from just a level 3 rat tide. Then what about the legendary level 1 rat tide? What about the even more terrifying war between humans and monsters? The war between monsters and humans is a war between two civilizations, a war between two races. Once the war starts, there will be countless different types of land-type monsters. There will also be all sorts of flying-type monsters. Speed-type monsters, strength-type monsters, underground-type monsters, poisonous-type monsters, flying-type monsters, sound-type monsters. Countless flying-type monsters will appear in the sky. Countless monsters will appear on the ground. And there will also be monsters underground. There will also be monsters in the lake. The rat tide and ant tide are just a part of it. This is the most terrifying war of all. Monsters are the mortal enemies of humans. Right now, the ocean is the world of the monsters. On land, humans have the advantage. In the air, the monsters have the advantage. Humans are forced to defend and counterattack in the headquarters cities. Luo Feng never realized this before. He always felt that the monsters were slaughtered by fighters, but today, he finally realized. The monsters can completely wipe out humanity from the face of the earth. If humanity is wiped out, then what about parents and family? What about culture and morals? My strength is still not enough. Far from enough. Luo Feng's gaze landed on the endless sky and land. Boom! Ka! Thunder roared, and occasionally, a bolt of lightning would strike down from the sky. Lightning! Luo Feng looked at the lightning in the sky and vaguely grasped something. Chapter 65. Kaboom! Bolts of lightning, imbued with the might of the heavens and the earth, continuously struck down. Sometimes 2 bolts of lightning intertwined like snakes in the sky and merged into a single bolt of lightning. This lightning contained boundless heavenly might. Even Lord monsters wouldn't dare to get struck by this kind of lightning. That shocking amount of electricity would probably turn them into ashes in an instant. Sharp! Sharp! Destroy everything! Mumbled Luo Feng, who was standing on the balcony, as he watched silently. These days, Luo Feng has been bitterly training his technique and blade technique in the city. In terms of technique, Luo Feng has barely stepped into the Ru Wei level. However, in terms of blade technique, Luo Feng's control over his strength has reached a shocking level. After killing over 10,000 monsters, and with the strict requirements of the 9-stage Thunderblade, Luo Feng's control over his blade technique is much stronger than Wei Tai and Wei Qing's. However, Luo Feng hasn't completed the 2nd stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade, as he has always wanted to reach the 2nd stage. Keep in mind that this instruction manual is extremely powerful. The 1st stage is equal to 140% of your original strength, and the 2nd stage is equal to 21% of your original strength. It's more than doubled. In other words, an advanced level warrior can completely unleash the power of a beginner level warlord. And the 9th stage of a 9-stage Thunderblade is 70%, which is 7 times the original strength. An advanced level warrior can almost unleash the power of an advanced level warlord. This is why the 9-stage Thunderblade is so powerful. However, the only person who has reached the 9th stage is the creator of the technique, Thunder God. Yeah, that should be it. Luo Feng, who has been training his blade technique, had a slight connection as he watched the lightning. He didn't care too much and immediately returned to the second floor to take out the ghost blade. After that, Luo Feng held the ghost blade in his hand and started practicing in the torrential rain. The lightning in the distance was already becoming sparse. According to the secret manual, every Saber Grandmaster would have his or her own realm. According to the instruction manual, the higher the level of the blade technique, the higher the level of the 9-stage Thunderblade. This lightning, Luo Feng started swinging his blade over and over again in the torrential rain. Different from before, Luo Feng's current blade training was chasing after the feeling in his heart, the feeling of thunder and lightning. That sudden burst of energy was extremely condensed. One could only see Luo Feng's blade light, whether it was vertical slashes, slashes, or horizontal slashes. It was like a beam of light flashing past. Exploded out. Luo Feng tried time and time again to follow that feeling within his heart, causing his body to explode with energy. That should be the case. But why can I only release the first layer of hidden force and not the second layer? The rain was heavy, but Luo Feng was completely immersed in the world of his blade, so he didn't care about the rain. And this night, Luo Feng didn't do his genetic energy training. Instead, he performed the 9-stage Thunderblade over and over again. Actually, Luo Feng's body was already extremely tired from the continuous slashes. However, Luo Feng didn't want to stop, so he only rested for a bit after each slash and then slashed again. On the morning of the second day, the rain stopped long ago. In the eastern sky, there was already a faint glow of dawn. The cold air of autumn and winter was already very cold in the morning, but Luo Feng, who was completely soaked, was still hugging his ghost blade as he sat on the balcony with his eyebrows furrowed. Just where am I lacking a bit? Luo Feng could feel that he should be able to release the second layer of hidden force, and even the hidden force in his muscles has already been activated. However, every time it seemed like he was about to release it, he would always fall short, just a little bit more. Ding dong! A drop of rain fell from the balcony and landed on a pond on the balcony. Suddenly, a ripple appeared on the calm surface of the water and gently spread in all directions. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. The image of the lightning that destroyed everything appeared in his mind. It was sharp to the extreme. However, the ripples caused by a single drop of water were very gentle. Toughness can't last long. My body fitness level is already this strong, and the 9th stage requires me to explode with power that exceeds my body fitness level by 7 times. If I keep pursuing toughness to the extreme, how can my body handle it? Luo Feng excitedly stood up and swung his ghost blade in front of him. When the blade first moved, it was only a bit fast. But in an instant, the blade's speed increased. Increased again. Increased twice in a row. The blade sliced through the air. Rumble, a sonic boomerang. And Luo Feng's right arm instantly bulged a bit. His right arm was clearly thicker than his left arm. That's it. Luo Feng retracted his blade and let out a happy smile. In that moment, his muscles were like ripples on the surface of the water. Very naturally, he continuously released 2 waves of hidden force. And the speed of the ghost blade that merged with these 2 waves of hidden force instantly increased to a shocking level, just like lightning. The second stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade is finally complete. With just his blade technique, Luo Feng can display the strength of a beginner-level warlord. With his Ru Wei technique, even beginner-level warlords can't compare to him. The overjoyed Luo Feng went downstairs and immediately called for breakfast. After happily eating breakfast, he prepared to train his genetic energy. Not right. My current blade is strong, but it's only brute force. Luo Feng shook his head and immediately picked up his ghost blade. I can continuously release 2 waves of hidden force. Luo Feng shook his head and immediately picked up his ghost blade. I can continuously release 2 waves of hidden force. I can completely control the frequency of these 2 waves of hidden force. This way, my blade speed will become even more unpredictable. Luo Feng started swinging his blade in the training room. Because he continuously released 2 waves of hidden force, Luo Feng's blade will increase in speed twice. This is the difference between a normal blade user and a practitioner of the 9-stage Thunderblade. The blade moved erratically. One blade, and then another. The scene of lightning striking down from the sky and the scene of the water droplets creating ripples appeared in Luo Feng's mind over and over again. He chased after this feeling and swung his blade again and again. What he needs is a blade technique that belongs to him. The 9-stage Thunderblade only gave him a technique to use force. Luo Feng has to experience the concept of a blade technique himself. What suits him is the best. And only when your level is high enough can your body withstand the force of the 9-stage Thunderblade without getting hurt. Immersed in this state of creation, the fatigue of his body couldn't affect Luo Feng's excitement at all. He swung his blade again and again, and his blade technique became more and more unpredictable and fast. Even as the blade sliced through the air, the blade itself started to vibrate due to the increase in speed, creating a slight vibration. Luo Feng didn't even know how long had passed. Xiao! A blade of light flashed by like lightning or mist. There was a feeling of being in a trance, but in that trance, that lightning-like blade already disappeared. That's it. Luo Feng finally let out a smile. That free and easy swinging of his blade allowed the muscles in his body to relax, allowing him to instantly unleash his hidden force. However, after unleashing his hidden force, he was in a relaxed state. This state of tension and relaxation allowed Luo Feng to last longer in battle. According to the level of a blade technique, I've already surpassed the basics and touched the concept. Even though I've only touched the edge, Luo Feng was extremely happy. What should his blade technique be called? Since I learned this blade technique from watching lightning, then I'll call it Bang! Luo Feng finally had his own blade technique. Even though my blade technique, Bang, is just the beginning, I'll continue to perfect its concept in the future, thought Luo Feng. He lowered his head and looked at his tactical communications watch. It was already around 2 p.m. He didn't think that it would have been almost 20 hours since he started training his blade technique last night. In a few more days, the Fire Hammer Squad will gather. My blade technique and technique are pretty good, so I'll go back and rest for a few days. Luo Feng happily ate lunch, packed his things, and then left the resupplying base on the train towards Jiangnan headquarters city. After 50 days of training and the deaths of over 10,000 monsters, Luo Feng's technique and blade technique reached new heights. And the blade technique he created, Thunderbolt, is finally starting to take shape. Even though it's still simple and easy to understand, its creator is only 18 years old. No one dares to say what level this blade technique, Thunderbolt, will reach in the future. Chapter 66. Yangzhou City's Mingyue sector, Luo Feng's home. In the living room, Luo Feng was eating dinner with his parents and brother. They were all laughing and chatting. The first time Luo Feng entered the wilderness, it only took him 7 to 8 days. This time, it took him almost 2 months. Even though his parents and brother often called each other, the joy of actually seeing Luo Feng far exceeded the phone call. After dinner, in Luo Hua's room, Luo Hua, what are you writing? Luo Feng saw the large amount of words on his brother's notebook and smiled as he asked. I'm reviewing my gains and losses in the past month and perfecting my stock theory. Luo Hua smiled as he said, Brother, this stock theory can be established after a few months. Luo Hua smiled and said, Bro, the main theory of stock trading can actually be established in a few months. Luo Hua laughed as he said, Brother, this stock theory can be established after a few months. Luo Feng laughed loudly. Luo Hua, don't tell me this, I don't understand. Luo Feng laughed. Luo Hua, don't tell me this, I don't understand. Recently, the stock market has not been doing well. The market has fallen by about 10%. However, the stocks that I chose are all high-quality stocks. Through the band manipulation, I have earned about 50% in the past 3 months. Luo Hua's face had a bit of confidence. Luo Feng let out a smile as he saw this. Actually, Luo Feng did some research about stocks on the internet. As of now, the entire Earth Alliance's stock market is one. Because different regions have different situations, Even if the entire stock market falls, some regions will still rise. And some regions that have been attacked by monsters may fall dramatically. In this kind of chaotic situation, it's hard to trade stocks. "Oh, so you've earned 10 million?" Luo Feng said in shock. 3 months ago, Luo Feng earned a lot from killing the hunter, so he gave his brother 20 million. Even though Luo Feng was confident in his brother, he didn't dare to give him too much money in case he loses too much. Not bad. Luo Feng picked up his cell phone and swiftly entered the internet bank to transfer money. Beat. The younger brother, Luo Hua, picked up his phone in surprise. There was a message about the change in the bank balance. Your card ending with 3,206 has deposited 50 million yuan into the Bank of Communications at 2151 on November 30th. The balance is 50 million 3,000, Bank of Communications. Brother, 50 million? Luo Hua looked at his brother Luo Feng in shock. 50 million isn't a small amount. China's currency is still quite valuable right now, and it's only around 3.5 compared to Earth's currency. Many rich businessmen in China can't even take out 50 million in cash. Luo Hua, work hard. I have high hopes for you, laughed Luo Feng. Luo Hua's eyes lit up as he nodded heavily. Luo Hua felt a sense of accomplishment as he operated such a huge sum of money in the stock market. He, who was crippled, had long regarded the stock market as a career. Ever since he started investing in stocks a few years ago, he had experimented with short-term, mid-term, and even long-term stocks. He had also tried regional stocks, banker stocks, and so on. Finally, he had determined his own path of thinking. It could be said that he already had the foundation of a generation's master. However, in the stock market, even a master could stumble. This was because it had very high requirements for one's mentality and mental fortitude. Rest early. Luo Feng smiled as he said, and went upstairs. 50 million. Luo Feng didn't really care about it. This time, he earned over 80 million in these 2 months of training. This speed of earning money made many fighters envious. However, they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't learn Luo Feng's methods. Since Luo Feng was a spirit reader, and if Luo Feng really wanted to earn money, he could definitely kill large amounts of commander-level monsters with his abilities as a spirit reader. Last night was still raining, but tonight the stars were already shining brightly. The starlight shone through the skylight into the training hall on the 2nd floor. Luo Feng was currently wielding his ghost blade and swinging it in extremely high frequency. Every time, Luo Feng used the 9-stage Thunderblade to its limit. Since he worked hard for 20 hours in the resupplying base, Luo Feng's high frequency of swinging took only half an hour before he was completely exhausted. After that, Luo Feng started his Dao Yin technique 9-stage Hun Yuan training. Finally, he started his Wu Xin Xiang Tian genetic energy training. Shishi, Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged and had his Wu Xin Xiang Tian on his face, couldn't help but to let out a happy expression. He could clearly feel every single cell in his body crazily devouring the energy of the universe. After I finished the first stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade, my training speed almost doubled. And now, after I finished the 2nd stage of the 9-stage Thunderblade, every single cell in my body seems to be even hungrier, so I can absorb even more genetic energy time past minute by minute, second by second. After a long time, every single cell in his body seemed to let out a happy burp. All of them couldn't absorb anymore and were in a saturated state. After I finished the first stage, my training speed doubled. After I finished the 2nd stage, even though my training speed isn't as fast as the first stage, it still increased by 1/3. Luo Feng was amazed. The 9-stage Thunderblade was indeed miraculous. Combined with the Dao Yin technique, his training speed was astonishingly fast. Before, I trained hard at home for a month. After that, I went into the wilderness to train for 2 months. I wonder how much my strength increased in these 3 months. Luo Feng was a bit excited. In these 3 months, Luo Feng's improvement was indeed astonishing. Since he's a spirit reader, his spiritual force is quietly improving his body every day. This is also one of the reasons why spirit readers are able to increase their strength in the beginning. Also, Luo Feng trained in the ultimate technique 9-stage Thunderblade. Plus, Luo Feng fought on the edge of life and death for 2 months. With these 3 factors combined, Luo Feng's training speed is 5 to 6 times faster than the average fighters. Tomorrow, I'll go to the limit hall to test my strength. Luo Feng also wanted to test the results of his training. Around 5 a.m. in the morning, Luo Feng headed towards the limit hall. Crazy, you're out so early. There were a few fighters doing their morning exercises in the sector. Crazy, I heard you earn a lot of money these past 2 months. You have to treat everyone in the sector to a good meal. Everyone will be happy. Quite a few fighters happily greeted him. Last time, no one knew about Luo Feng's Hunter Silver Moon Wolf earnings. However, in these 2 months, Luo Feng crazily slaughtered regular soldier-level monsters. Many fighters in the circle of fighters recognized Luo Feng, slaughtering over 10,000 monsters in 2 months. This result could be described as crazy. So it's not strange that he got the nickname Crazy. And because of this, everyone became more respectful towards Luo Feng. After all, no matter how stupid a person is, after continuously killing over 10,000 monsters, his experience in killing monsters will become very profound. After all, practice makes perfect. Sure, no problem. How about tonight? Laughed Luo Feng. After entering the limit hall, the receptionist girl in the lobby saw Luo Feng and yelled, "Mr. Luo, it's so early. There's no one upstairs yet. Do you want something to drink? I'll bring it up for you." "No need, just prepare some tea and snacks. I'll eat downstairs later," laughed Luo Feng and directly went upstairs. Limit Hall's 6th floor. Luo Feng was extremely emotional as he looked at the gigantic training hall on the 6th floor. Back then, he took his prospective fighter exam here. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, the prospective fighter from back then would become a true elite fighter? Luo Feng first turned on the fist strength tester and then the speed tester. After turning on the speed tester, Luo Feng stood on the track. "Let's see how strong I am now." Luo Feng, who was originally standing on the track, instantly shot out like an arrow. In the blink of an eye, he charged across the track and came to a stop. Luo Feng walked to the speed tester and saw the number displayed on the screen. 78. 6 ms. Not bad, Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Usually, 60 meters per second is the minimum required for an advanced level warrior, and 90 meters per second is the minimum required for a beginner level warlord. "Let's test my fist strength." Luo Feng walked to the fist strength tester, took a deep breath, and suddenly punched. Rumble. His fist was like a cannonball as it smashed into the tester. The tester violently shook, and the number displayed on the screen, 6121 kg. Usually for 1,000 kilograms is the minimum required for an advanced level warlord, and 8,000 kilograms is the minimum required for a beginner level warlord. Of course, this is just a rough number because nowadays, strength isn't determined by body fitness level, but by how many monsters you kill. Since body fitness level is only a part of strength. Let's try out the strength of the 9-stage Thunderblade. Luo Feng calmly breathed and then suddenly opened his eyes. He punched with both of his legs, and the entire floor of the training hall faintly shook. The powerful force instantly traveled from his legs to his waist. Crack, crack, crack. Luo Feng's spine straightened up bit by bit, and the powerful force of the punch traveled to his right arm. At the same time, his waist and even his back were like ripples on the surface of water, and 2 waves of hidden force were released. The force connected. 9-stage Thunderblade. 2nd stage, 21% of strength, explode. As Luo Feng's fist swung out, its speed continued to increase. And then, with the sound of the air exploding, it directly smashed into the fist strength tester's tester. Rumble. Half of the tester fell down and then slowly stood up. The screen also paused for a bit and then showed a number, 12,928 kg. What a guy, a smile appeared on Luo Feng's face. According to 6,121 times 2. 1. The exact number is 12854. However, fist strength is a rough number, so it's normal for it to be a bit higher and a bit lower. You can say that Luo Feng's full strength is close to 13,000 kilograms. His body strength is that of an advanced level warrior. Using the 9-stage Thunderblade, he can reach the beginner level warlord level. It's way above the baseline of 8,000 kilograms. A beginner level warlord's fist strength is usually between 800 16,000. Finally, let's test my reaction speed. Luo Feng entered the reaction speed tester room and directly changed the beginner level warlord mode. He also set the 5-second delay mode. After pressing the red button, Luo Feng swiftly walked into the circle. He stood in the circle. Around 5 seconds later, beep, beep, the reaction speed tester machine's cannon started spinning and continuously accelerated until it reached a shocking speed. After that, the dozens of muzzles in the gigantic cannon shot out rubber bullets one after another. The rubber bullets quickly shot into the red circle. So fast, Luo Feng stood in the center of the red circle and swiftly moved. His steps were light, but extremely fast, extremely easy. If someone else had the same reaction speed as Luo Feng, they probably wouldn't be able to do it as easily as Luo Feng, because Luo Feng's technique has already reached the Ruwei level. With this Ruwei level of control, Luo Feng can maximize his dodging ability. Pu. 2 bullets hit Luo Feng, but he didn't hesitate at all and continued to dodge. 1 minute later, the cannon slowed down until it stopped spinning. Luo Feng walked towards the screen and looked carefully. Hachem, you were hit 21 times in 60 seconds, and you didn't touch the red light. Excellent. Luo Feng was shocked at this result. He was actually able to get an excellent result on a beginner-level warlord's reaction speed tester. You can see the effects of the Ruwei level. Actually, this reaction speed tester machine more accurately tests dodging ability, and dodging ability is related to speed, reaction speed, awareness, etc. However, this is already the best way to test it. Speed, 78. 6m/s, fist strength, 6,121 kilograms, can reach almost 13,000 kg. Reaction speed tester, beginner level warlord, excellent. Luo Feng was very satisfied with this result. He was very clear that his body fitness level should be at the advanced warrior level. However, because of the 9-stage Thunderblade and the Ruwei level support, this allowed his attack power and reaction speed to reach the beginner level warlord level. After the test, Luo Feng happily went downstairs. In the lobby bar on the first floor, there were quite a few fighters sitting there chatting. Madman Luo Feng Chief Instructor Wu Tong was also among them and laughed. You came here so early in the morning. Did you want to see the prospective fighter exam? You didn't come the last few times, so this time is good too. Let's see how this batch of newbies are doing together. Why don't you test them when the time comes? Luo Feng froze. Prospective fighter exam? Yeah, today is December 1st. The day of the month is the day of the prospective fighter exam. Chapter 67. Luo Feng couldn't help but to laugh. This world sure is interesting. 5 months ago, he was a dojo student who came here to take the exam. At that time, his entire family lived in a cheap rental housing sector. In the blink of an eye, he's already living in Mingyue sector and earning tens of millions of dollars with ease. Uncle Wu, you should take the exam. I'll take a look when the time comes. Luo Feng smiled as he sat down. A waiter immediately brought tea and desserts. Crazy, a man wearing a dojo uniform, who is also an instructor of the Dojo of Limits, laughed as he said, I heard you killed tens of thousands of monsters in the past 2 months, and almost all of them were high-level soldier-level monsters? So you've already reached the beginner-level warlord level, right? I think so. Someone on the side nodded in agreement. Wu Tong also nodded. An advanced-level fighter can't kill so many monsters like chopping vegetables. Even if Luo Feng hasn't reached the beginner-level warlord level, he's pretty close. I remember that Luo Feng practices the 9-stage Thunderblade, so he probably has some accomplishments in it. Luo Feng froze. Isn't that right? He had killed more than 10,000 monsters in less than 2 months, and the vast majority of them were high-level soldiers. This kind of efficiency was really difficult for a high-level warrior to achieve. No wonder so many people think that he's reached the beginner level warlord level. The 9-stage Thunderblade is really hard to practice, right? And that instruction manual is super expensive, said another fighter. It is hard, Luo Feng smiled as he nodded. I only made a small breakthrough. Oh, everyone, including Wu Tong, looked at Luo Feng differently. The 9-stage Thunderblade is an ultimate instruction manual. Many people buy this instruction manual, but many fighters can't break through just to get started. Practicing this instruction manual means that you can fight above your level. Luo Feng, a voice carried from outside. Luo Feng turned his head and saw that it was Brother Chun. Luo Feng, I heard that you came back. Didn't think that you'd be here so early in the morning. Chun Gu laughed as he walked over. Oh yeah, do you plan on attending Senior Lu Gang's memorial tomorrow? We'll all go for something this big. Luo Feng, we'll go together, said head instructor Wu Tong. Luo Feng sighed and nodded. Of course he had to go. This deceased Senior Lu Gang was the war god who unfortunately died during the level 3 rat tide 2 days ago. Even though Luo Feng didn't actually experience the rat tide, he was in the wilderness when it happened. As the saying goes, the fox grieves when the rabbit dies. Seeing his senior die, Luo Feng naturally went to mourn. On the day of the prospective fighter exam, Luo Feng and a group of people watched the younger generation take the exam. There were a total of 8 people, and 3 of them passed. Luo Feng even recognized one of these 8 people, an elite student of the Xi'an region's dojo of limits. However, this elite student didn't pass. The next morning, the temperature was very low. The Hall of Heroes funeral parlor in Jiangnan headquarters city had been cordoned off because many people would be there to mourn for Senior Lu Gang. The 5 members of the Fire Hammer squad gathered together. All 5 of them were dressed in black. There are so many people today. Chenggu couldn't help but to sigh. Luo Feng also looked around. Just the surrounding streets were filled with people who came to mourn. Most importantly, today is the first day of mourning. Only fighters, family members, upper echelons of the government, and other special people can come. And from tomorrow onwards, regular citizens can only come to mourn for 7 days. Even so, there were over 10,000 people gathered here today. These were all the upper echelons of Jiangnan headquarters city. There were some upper echelons of families, some upper echelons of the government, and some upper echelons of the military. Most importantly, there were large amounts of fighters. Among these fighters, there were even powerful war god fighters. While war god dies, it's normal for other war gods to mourn for him. The national television is here, too. Luo Feng looked at the news van. The morning event for a war god's death is broadcasted live across the country. Gao Feng sighed. How many war gods die in China every year? It's broadcasted live across the country. However, only war god level fighters or higher can enjoy this kind of treatment. Warrior level and warlord level fighters can enjoy this kind of top-notch treatment. Keep in mind that even among the generals of the military, only the few at the top have the right to enjoy this kind of treatment. Look, that's the mayor of Jiangnan headquarters city. The one beside him should be that leader who often appears on TV. Look over there, the head of our Jiangnan Su family. One of the 12 families of the HR Alliance. Luo Feng couldn't help but to look over when he heard the Su family. It was a slightly chubby old man with white hair. He looked to be around 80 or 90 years old, but his entire body naturally gave off the vibe of someone in a high position. Behind him were 4 subordinates. That's the war god level fighter, Zhu Gushan. He's the brother of our dojo of limits manager, Zhu Gutao. Quite a few fighters discussed amongst themselves. The ones who came here today are indeed top-notch figures. Whether it's the political, military, economic, or fighter circles, they're all top-notch figures. The morning event is starting up ahead. Gao Feng looked ahead. However, we have to wait until later before we can enter. Let's wait. It's rare to see so many powerful fighters, laughed Chenggu. Luo Feng and the others stood on the side of the street and waited behind the large amounts of fighters. Some of the big figures in front have already gone to the morning event. Beep! A completely black, saucer-shaped fighter jet flew over from afar. The soldiers guarding the Hall of Heroes funeral parlor didn't stop it at all. The war god level combatants, the mayor of Jiangnan City, and the high-ranking officials all came out to greet it. A big figure is here. Chun-Gu's eyes flashed. F***CK. Who's here? Gao Feng was also shocked. Keep in mind that the people here are pretty much the upper class of China's upper class. For example, the war god level fighters are the top-notch figures amongst fighters. For example, the mayor of Jiangnan headquarters city is definitely a top-notch official. Since there are only 6 headquarters cities in the entire country of China, this is much higher than the officials from before the Grand Nirvana period. But now this group of people came out to greet them. Who is it? Luo Feng looked carefully. All the fighters, including the people from the television station, stared. No one dared to make sound. Complete silence. The disc-shaped fighter jet slowly landed and the door opened. A skinny man with an aquiline nose, dressed in black, walked down the stairs of the fighter jet. His expression wasn't too good, and his eyes were filled with tears. Just by standing there, he made everyone feel as if the area of a few dozen meters around him was plunged into darkness, as if he was the god of that area. Representative Zhu, said one of the war god level fighters who came to greet him. The aquiline-nosed man sighed and didn't say anything. He nodded towards the war god level fighters, the mayor of Jiangnan headquarters city, the officials from Kyoto City, and the generals of the army, and then directly headed towards the funeral hall. Everyone else followed behind him. Complete silence. Only after this group of big figures entered did the sounds of discussion slowly start coming from outside. Who is this person? Luo Feng was full of questions. This is definitely the type of big figure that stands at the top of the entire country of China. Even the leaders of the country rarely make those few war god level fighters respectfully wait here. War god level fighters rarely look up to high-ranking officials. No idea. Chun-Gu and the others also shook their heads. Gao Feng's ears twitched and said quietly, someone on the other side said that the person just now is called Zhu Shi. I've heard of this name before. He was an extremely famous war god level fighter back then. However, I haven't heard any news about him since then, so he rarely shows his face. I heard on the internet that this Zhu, she has already surpassed the war god level and became one of the most powerful existences, an existence that surpassed the war god level. Luo Feng and the others took in a deep breath. Holy, an existence like that can be treated as an equal by an entire country. Even the country has to flatter and support these people. That's definitely an existence that stands at the peak of human society. No wonder all these families, government, military, etc., and even war gods with extremely high statuses all came to greet him. You can say this kind of person was a godlike existence among humans. Chapter 68. Mournful music reverberated throughout the entire hall of Hero's funeral parlor. From government officials, military generals, to war god-level martial artists, one after another mourned. The national television station also recorded everything carefully, and the television station reporter also described in front of the camera. Very quickly, it was Luo Feng's turn. Following the flow of people, the 5 members of the Firehammer squad quickly entered the funeral parlor. There was only a huge photo in the memorial hall. There's only a picture, not even a corpse. Luo Feng sighed to himself. Facing the endless rat horde, once you die, there's indeed nothing left of you. Under the mournful music, Luo Feng and the others bowed 3 times. Kneeling beside him were the wives and children of the war god Lu Gang. Very quickly, Luo Feng and the others left the place. The atmosphere outside the venue was obviously more relaxed, not as oppressive as it was inside. Senior Lu Gang is really unlucky. Gao Feng shook his head and sighed. He just happened to fall into the middle of the rat wave. And the leader of the endless rat tide definitely saw that Senior Lu Gang was a peerless powerhouse of the human race, so he wanted to kill him at all costs. As long as the rat tide doesn't hesitate to pay any price, they won't be able to escape once they are trapped. Luo Feng said softly, I heard that the satellite recorded the scene. Senior Lu Gang was struggling and killing tens of skyscrapers and over 1 million rat beasts. You can imagine that scene. Previously, he, Wan Dong, and the others had only been chased by a small group of tens of thousands of rat beasts. Not only that, there wasn't even a single commander-level rat beast in that group. Otherwise, how could they not be able to catch up to Wan Dong and the others? But even such a small swarm made Luo Feng feel pressured. Luo Feng shuddered at the thought of being surrounded by billions of rat beasts. That war god was able to kill over 1 million rat beasts in a short period of time. It was quite powerful. If Senior Lu Gang was more careful at the beginning and avoided the core of the rat tide, he wouldn't have died. Gao Feng sighed. It was very cold outside the funeral parlor. The streets were filled with people from the martial arts circle, political circles, military circles, and family financial groups. Luo Feng. A voice resounded. Luo Feng turned his head and saw that not far away was Su Xian dressed in black. Su Xian's outfit gave off an extra cold feeling. Su Xian, you don't have class today? Asked Luo Feng. Today is Saturday, so I follow my family here. Su Xian couldn't help but smile. Luo Feng was stunned and laughed at himself. Saturday? I don't go to school, so I can't even remember the day of the week. As a cultivator, there was really no need to care about the day of the week. When he was in school, he remembered the weekends very clearly. Luo Feng's classmate is a fighter now, so he's different from us, Su Xian purposely said. Luo Feng and Su Xian were talking on the side of the street. In the distance, Su Gang was chatting with a middle-aged woman. However, when Su Gang noticed Luo Feng and Su Xian, his eyebrows couldn't help but to slightly frown. He apologetically said to the middle-aged woman beside him, Director Zhang, I have something to do. We'll talk about the split later. The middle-aged woman smiled and nodded. Su Gang walked not too far away and watched Luo Feng and Su Xian from the corner of his eyes. With Su Gang's vision, he could clearly see Luo Feng and Su Xian's expressions. It was clear that Luo Feng and Su Xian were chatting quite happily. This made Su Gang's face even uglier. My sister is quite an arrogant person. She's a man who doesn't like to interact with people of the same age. So why is she with this Luo Feng? His sister, Su Xian, has already reached the legal age for marriage. So Su Gang takes his sister's relationship very seriously. No matter what, he doesn't like Luo Feng, a martial artist who may die any moment, wants to pester my sister. The deeper she sinks, the more pain she'll suffer in the future. Su Gang was furious. I already told this Luo Feng last time. If he knows what's good for him, then he should stay away from my sister. He really doesn't know what's good for him. Su Gang was clearly furious, but what can he do? He won't be stupid enough to just charge forward. Su Gang's gaze suddenly noticed a person not too far away and couldn't help but to think, I'll make Luo Feng suffer a bit and back off. As he thought to himself, Su Gang walked toward the left. Young Master Su. A handsome young man with a shaved head greeted him with a smile. Guahai. Su Gang also smiled as he walked over. Didn't think I'd be able to see you here, Brother Guahai. I thought you were in the wilderness. Senior Lu Gang's memorial service is a big event. How could I not come? The bald, handsome youth looked towards the funeral parlor and sighed as he shook his head. Back then, I also received some pointers from Senior Lu Gang. Who would have thought that a powerful fighter like Senior Lu Gang would actually... Su Gang felt that Guahai was really quite sad. So he shook his head to himself. This Guahai and war god Lu Gang don't have much of a relationship. He's too fake. He's a businessman, so he has no way of understanding the relationship between fighters. Fighters who walk on the edge of life and death care a lot about kindness. Naturally, they'll never forget a senior's pointers. Guahai, my sister is also coming today, smiled Su Gang. Su Xian? Guahai's heart moved. Where? Su Gang laughed bitterly and gestured in a direction with his eyes. Look, he's over there, talking to a young martial artist. Guahai saw Luo Feng and Su Xian in the distance and slightly frowned as he said in shock. From what I know, Miss Su Xian rarely talks to fighters. This young fighter's relationship with her isn't normal. Even though he likes Su Xian, Guahai doesn't think that just because he likes Su Xian, he has to make her like him. It's not normal. Su Gang shook his head. They were classmates. Su Gang shook his head. They used to be classmates. My sister has a good impression of him. Otherwise, she wouldn't have talked so much. Guahai nodded. It's hard for Su Xian to talk so much to a young man. Even though she's pretty good at controlling herself, Guahai couldn't help but feel a bit jealous. This kid, last time I reminded him to stay away from my sister, but it seems like he's interested in her. But from the looks of it, he's interested in my sister. Su Gang looked at Guahai. This kid doesn't know his place. A warrior-level martial artist might die any day. And he's even chasing after my sister. He's really a toad. Try to eat swan meat. Guahai raised his eyebrows and couldn't help but to feel proud. It's normal for young people to be like this. Compared to him, he's already an intermediate warlord, and he's only 21 years old. Su Gang, you're right. Warrior-level fighters are indeed dangerous in the wilderness. They might die any time, nodded Guahai. If that kid really wants Su Xian's good, then he shouldn't be chasing her. I think so too, followed Su Gang. Guahai glanced at Luo Feng in the distance and said, "Oh yeah, what's his name?" "His name is Luo Feng. He just became a fighter," said Su Gang. Luo Feng, frowned Guahai, madman. Su Gang froze and looked toward Guahai with confusion. What madman? Madman is just a nickname. Only people with strength would be given this nickname by others. Normal people don't even have nicknames. Guahai looked towards Su Gang and frowned as he said, "This Luo Feng has a bit of fame in our fighter circle. You underestimated him before. Even though he just became a fighter, he killed around 10,000 soldier-level monsters in just 2 short months, and almost all of them were high-level soldier level. According to my estimations, he should have the strength of a beginner-level warlord. You killed more than 10,000 monsters? 2 months?" Su Gang blinked a few times. "Also, you said he's a beginner-level warlord? An 18-year-old beginner-level warlord?" Su Gang couldn't help but to exclaim. Guahai nodded. Su Gang's eyes widened as he turned his head and looked towards Luo Feng, who was happily chatting with Su Xian. He couldn't help but to curse. F***K. This kid is pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. I can't believe he's actually quite a character. An 18-year-old beginner-level warlord compared to a 21-year-old intermediate-level warlord. In terms of potential, Luo Feng might be a bit higher. Su Gang's mentality changed a bit. Who would have thought that this madman would like Su Xian too? Let out a smile. Interesting. Luo Feng, he's called Madman. This nickname, Su Gang was still shocked. But he killed around 10,000 monsters in just 2 months. How crazy. Chapter 69. Even though he was shocked, Su Gang quickly sobered up. He observed Luo Feng in the distance, and his merchant's mind quickly made a series of decisions. This Luo Feng is so young, and he's already a beginner-level warlord. And he doesn't have a good background, so it's quite rare for him to reach this step. I'll just watch. If he becomes a war god-level existence one day, my dad and the others would probably want my sister to marry him. However, a fighter is still a fighter. Even Lu Gang will die, so who knows when he'll die. Whatever, I won't think too much about it. Let's see how this Luo Feng develops in the future, Su Gang thought to himself. After all, a junior warlord was really nothing to a large family like the Su family. The memorial was still ongoing, but some fighters were already starting to leave. After the 5 members of the Firehammer squad left, they went to find a classical-looking restaurant with decent decorations. The restaurant owner knew that quite a few people came to the memorial today. Since the memorial was broadcasted to the entire country, the restaurant owner knew who these 5 people were after seeing the direction Luo Feng and the others came from in the dojo of Limit's car. He immediately invited them to the best room on the 3rd floor. "All right, go down." Changgu quickly ordered some dishes and waved his hand for the waiter to leave. The prettiest waitress in the restaurant looked at them curiously and obediently left the room. "Fuck, I was in a good mood today, but after seeing those bastards from the Tiger Fong squad, I'm filled with anger. My good mood is gone." Gao Feng couldn't help but to say as he clenched his teeth. Before they left, Luo Feng and the others met the members of the Tiger Fong squad who also came to mourn. "Captain, there's no need to get so angry with those bastards. It's not worth it." Wei Tai shook his head. "When we enter the wilderness, we'll just find a chance to kill them," sneered Wei Qing. Luo Feng frowned and scanned the entire room with his spiritual force to see if there were any listening devices. Seeing Luo Feng like this, Gao Feng laughed. "Luo Feng, don't worry. This restaurant could be considered high class, and the top private rooms of such a high-class restaurant were usually reserved for people of status to eat and talk, and they would often talk about secrets. If this owner dares to eavesdrop, he's looking to die. Chingu also opened his mouth. So what if they're the listening device? We just said we were going to kill them, but we didn't kill them. Can I just say it? Luo Feng smiled. That's right. Captain, are there any troublesome people behind this firehammer squad? Asked Luo Feng. If there are, then we'll have to be careful. What kind of big shot could there be? Gao Feng sneered. Could it be that their parents are war gods? Speaking of which, war god Lu Gang has a total of 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. His eldest son and daughter were both warrior-level experts. Only his second son's strength is very ordinary. Wei Tai sighed. This expert is really different. Even his children are so powerful. Oh, 3 children and 2 of them are warlord level. Luo Feng was shocked. It's normal. Gao Feng said, Luo Feng, you haven't been in the fighter circle for long, so you might not know. In fact, a powerful martial artist's children were usually more powerful. For example, our world's strongest fighter, Hong, he himself is an existence surpassing the war god level. His son and daughter are both war god rank. Luo Feng blinked twice. He really didn't notice such news. Actually, the logic is simple. Gao Feng smiled as he continued. When a fighter trains, every cell in his body absorbs genetic energy and perfects the body's genes, causing the body's genes to continuously improve. Actually, the process of training is also the process of improving one's genes. The more powerful one is, the higher their genes will be. And when you get married and have children, you pass on your genes to your descendants. For powerful fighters like Hong, Thunder God, and Jushi that we saw before, it's not strange for their children to reach the war god level, because their genes are naturally good. However, this isn't 100% true. If the descendants aren't as strong as their ancestors, then each generation will be weaker than the previous one. After a few generations, the family's genes will become ordinary. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, getting married and having children is a genetic process. The children of powerful fighters are born with an advantage. The door to the room opened, and the waiter came in to deliver the food. Okay, after the waiter left, Gao Feng sighed. Actually, if humanity continues to develop like this, the genes of the powerful fighters will gradually spread, causing the genes of the entire human race on Earth to gradually improve. However, when the weak marry the strong, some children with average genes will also appear. So it's very hard to improve the genes of the entire human race. The strong are improving the genes of the entire human race, while the weak are lowering the genes of the entire human race. However, one thing is for sure. As time goes on, the overall fitness level of the human race on Earth will gradually improve. One day, almost all humans will be able to become martial artists. Gao Feng's conclusion made Luo Feng slightly nod. Of course, everyone can become a fighter. Who knows how long that will take? 500 years? 1,000 years? 5,000 years? Gao Feng shook his head as he laughed. Indeed, the evolution of the entire human race is a very long process. Luo Feng and the others quickly finished their lunch. After taking away the food, they ordered some tea. Old Chun and Wei Tai and the other brothers have pretty much familiarized themselves with their bodies. I think we'll enter the wilderness in 2 days. Gao Feng looked towards them. Does anyone have any objections? How about the day after tomorrow? Said Chingu. Luo Feng nodded. We'll leave the day after tomorrow. However, Captain, where are we going this time? Chingu laughed. Of course we won't be going to those small cities this time. Our team is much stronger than before. The fact that the entire team is 10 times stronger than before is definitely not a lie. Let's go to the main city area. Wei Tai and Wei Qing's eyes flashed. In the past, they only went to the prefecture-level cities for a bit. How about, we'll be arrogant for a bit and go to number 003 city? Gao Feng took in a deep breath and said quietly, Number 003 city? Luo Feng and the others who were seated were all shocked. Number 003 city, what does it represent? It could be said to be one of the most terrifying regions in the entire Eurasian region. This place is near the ocean, so there are large amounts of sea monsters in the rivers. This place has the most buildings in all of Asia, which also causes the number of monsters here to reach an astonishing number. There are many Horde leader level monsters here, and there are even monsters that surpass the Horde leader level here. Large amounts of top-notch fighters came here. Even warriors from the other base cities of Huaxia had rushed over. This place was practically a base camp for human warriors and monsters to kill each other. This place is the economic center of China before the Grand Nirvana period. The original Shanghai city. We're going there? Wei Tai and Wei Qing were both shocked. That's too much. That's too big of a step. Wei Tai couldn't help but to say, how about we go to number 023 city first? What about the original Suzhou? No matter how brave they are, they would still tremble when they hear the name number 003 city. That place is truly a place where dragons and snakes mingle and crooks mingle. Gao Feng looked at them and laughed. Are you afraid? What's there to be scared of? If we dare to go number 003 city, we'll be proud. Chenggu's eyes flashed. We'll go, of course we'll go. The entire number 003 city is huge, at least 10 times bigger than other cities. We'll just slowly infiltrate from the edge. So what's there to be afraid of Luo Feng? What do you think? The group looked towards Luo Feng. Since Luo Feng is the number one fighter of the squad, Luo Feng thought. Of course Luo Feng knows about this legendary number 003 city. Whether it's the meaning of number 003 city to humans or the position of the original Shanghai city before the Grand Nirvana period, it's all special. All right, we can enter, but we'll have to take it slow from the outskirts. Luo Feng nodded. Of course I'll slowly advance from the suburbs. Do you think I'm tired of living? I don't want to die yet. Gao Feng smiled. Some of my old friends from back then, many of them are hanging around in number 003 city. That's the place where the top martial artists appear. TSK, we're going there too. It was a symbol of strength to be able to survive in 003 city. Because there are a lot of big shots there, even in the outskirts, large amounts of commander-level monsters often appear. In the hinterlands, there were many Lord-tier monsters. Therefore, those without strength would not even dare to enter the suburbs of 003 city. All right, then everyone get ready to rest. We will depart the day after tomorrow morning and head to 003 city. Gao Feng smiled. All right, let's go to 003 city. Luo Feng and his group felt their blood boiling. Chapter 70. On the third day, Luo Feng and Chenggu left the Mingyue sector. They met up with Gao Feng, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing in the HR Alliance market and headed towards the resupplying base of the Southeastern Military Sector. The Southeastern Military Sector is even bigger than Jiangnan Headquarters City's Northern Military Sector. This resupplying base is also much bigger than the Northern Military Sector's resupplying base. After receiving the keys, Luo Feng and the others couldn't help but to sigh as they walked around the resupplying base. The amount of houses in this resupplying base far exceeds the Northern Military Sectors. And with just a glance, you can see large amounts of fighters everywhere. In terms of strength, the fighters here also far surpass the Northern Military Sector. Of course, they're much stronger. Gao Feng sighed. Number 003 city is near the ocean. Countless monsters in the ocean split apart the continent and followed the Huangpu River to threaten the land. The military sector here is here to deal with these sea monsters. And the fighters here are mainly here to deal with the monsters in number 003 city. Compared to the monsters on land, the sea monsters are much more terrifying because the area of the ocean is much larger than the land, and the ocean is the territory of the monsters. You can imagine how many monsters there are in the ocean. Look, that's the poison demon spear, right? Holy shit, isn't that a war god? It's rare to see a war god in the Northern Military Sector, but here we see one. That's not weird. Number 003 city is one of the top monster camps in Eurasia. Not only are Jiangnan Headquarters City, but there are also fighters from other headquarters cities here. So it's not weird at all. The Firehammer squad looked down from their balconies and were all shocked. The martial artists here came from all over the world. Let's eat. After lunch, we'll head towards number 003 city, said Gao Feng. After a while, the fully armed Fire Hammer Squad left the resupplying base. It's the Fire Hammer Squad. They're here too? I heard that the new madman in the Fire Hammer Squad is pretty strong. He's a beginner-level warlord, so he'll definitely improve quickly. A few people in the resupplying base laughed as they discussed. Madman? Wan Dong, who was chatting with a friend under a tree, couldn't help but to turn his head and look. At this time, the 5 members of the Fire Hammer Squad were heading towards the main gate of the base. Dong, this Luo Feng is from the same batch as you, right? Said the burly man on the side. Yes. Wan Dong nodded. He became a martial artist in the same batch as me. I even met him during the level 3 rat tide outbreak. I didn't expect him to come to the southeast military region. During the last rat tide, Wan Dong's original team leader died. Therefore, Wan Dong and the others joined other warrior teams and came here. Dong, do your best. Don't lose to this Luo Feng. The bulky brute hammered Wan Dong's chest. Wan Dong watched as Luo Feng's silhouette disappeared through the gate and felt complicated. Back then, when they had participated in the fighter combat examination together, they had also been recruited in advance by the dojo. Who would have thought that in the blink of an eye, he would still be a newbie who needed to work hard, while Luo Feng had already made a name for himself in the circle of fighters. Now, when the name Jiangnan City's madman is mentioned, most people know about it. After all, it was very difficult to make a name for oneself. Or he could rely on a heaven-shaking battle. Or he could rely on some strange battle achievements. Luo Feng killed over 10,000 monsters in 2 months. Or through the accumulation of fame over the years. For example, Chungu and Zhang had accumulated their fame for more than 10 years before they had a name. And now, Luo Feng can be considered a famous figure. Back then, he was like me. Now, he's a famous figure in the circle of fighters. I can't lose to him. Wan Dong clenched his fist. With Luo Feng in front of him, Wan Dong didn't dare to relax at all. Luo Feng and the others walked along the highway for around 2 days before finally entering number 003 city. The sky was gloomy as the Fire Hammer Squad carefully moved forward. Enter the house, commanded Gao Feng. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Luo Feng and the others swiftly rushed into a shop on the side. Screch. Ga. Only after hundreds of birds swiftly flew across the sky did the members of the Fire Hammer Squad carefully come out. This is where the monsters gather. It's the biggest camp in the entire Eurasian continent. Not only are there land monsters, but there are also all sorts of bird-type monsters, said Gao Feng seriously. And because it's near the sea, some amphibious monsters will appear. Gao Feng said solemnly in a low voice. And because it's near the sea, some amphibious monsters will also appear. So everyone must be careful, careful, careful. Understood, Captain Luo Feng and the others nodded. Everyone knew how dangerous this place was. Just from the attack of the bird-type monsters just now. Only Luo Feng's explosiveness and the terrain could save their lives. Our target is a small sector called One Could Dream City, 2 miles away, said Gao Feng quietly. This One Could Dream City takes up a huge amount of land. It used to be able to hold close to 1 million people. Now, there are quite a lot of monsters there. And because it's near the outskirts of number 003 city, horde leader-level monsters are hard to come by, Gao Feng said quietly. This One Could Dream City takes up a huge amount of land. Okay, nodded the others. Everyone be careful. No matter if it's in the sky, on the ground, or even underground, monsters can appear. Gao Feng waved his hand. Let's go. Luo Feng's ghost blade was already unsheathed, and Xingu's RG-112 heavy machine gun was ready to fire at any time. The 5 members of the Fire Hammer Squad carefully moved forward, not daring to be arrogant at all. Their attitude was completely different from when they were in the small city. Howl, howl, die. The sky's shaking roars carried over from a few dozen miles away. There were even angry roars from humans. F***CK. What kind of monster is that? Xingu couldn't help but to turn his head towards the direction of the roars. That's the direction of the city center. It's a place where all sorts of crooks and crocodiles appear. Horde leader-level monsters and war god-level fighters are all there, said Gao Feng quietly. Without the power of a war god, going there is no different from suicide. In the city center of number 003 city, not only are there fighters from China, but fighters from other countries like Russia and India will also come. Luo Feng and the others nodded. A short distance of 2 miles can be covered in less than a minute if they run at full speed. However, the Firehammer squad spent a whole half an hour before they arrived at the abandoned Wanku Dream City sector. In this half an hour, Luo Feng and the others killed 2 snake-type monsters, around 30 regular soldier-level monsters, and 1 low-level commander-level monster. I heard that this place was dangerous, but I didn't think it would be this dangerous. We were so careful, but we were still forced to fight a low-level commander-level monster. Chun Gu's eyes flashed. No wonder it's number 003 city. Let's go. Hurry up and go upstairs. Gao Feng waved his hand. Luo Feng and the others carefully and swiftly entered a residential building. This residential building had a total of 18 floors. Luo Feng and the others killed their way from the first floor to the 12th floor and encountered around 10 monsters along the way. On the 12th floor, in a room that was around 100 square meters in size. While we're in number 003 city, this house will be our temporary resting place, said Gao Feng. Luo Feng nodded. Unlike some cities, number 003 city has large amounts of flying monsters, so you can't rest on a rooftop. Resting on a rooftop is the same as looking for death. Look over there. Gao Feng stood on the balcony that was covered in dust and pointed towards the south. Look, there's an area that's completely covered in mist. Luo Feng and the others walked over. Indeed, around 10 miles away, buildings were faintly discernible under the mist. You couldn't see anything further than that. You could only see old and broken road signs. That area was indeed strangely covered in mist. Actually, the entire number 003 city was just a patch of gray. The roars of various monsters and the cries of birds could be heard everywhere. The rumbling horde of tens of thousands of monsters was uncountable. The core area of that area used to be a Carrefour supermarket, and there was a high-level horde leader monster occupying that area. Gao Feng said solemnly, "Remember, no matter what, we must not go near that area." Apparently, that high-level horde leader monster has 2 low-level horde leader monsters under its command, along with large amounts of commander-level monsters and countless soldier-level monsters. It's a tyrant in the surrounding 20 to 30 miles. Luo Feng took in a deep breath. 1 high-level horde leader and 2 low-level horde leaders? What kind of clan is this? Of course, they're only tyrants in the rural areas. In the urban areas, there are plenty of horde leader-level monsters. Gao Feng waved his hand. All right, everyone rest for the night. Tomorrow, we'll begin our journey in number 003 city. Yes, Captain. Luo Feng and the others looked at each other and let out a smile. Why-oh! In the sky above the sector, hundreds of flying monsters whizzed past. Some of them even flew past the buildings in the sector. The closest monster was only 20 to 30 meters away from Luo Feng and the others. Everyone go rest in the bedrooms. The windows in the bedrooms aren't big, so flying monsters can't fly in. Today, Chungu and Wei Tai, you two take turns keeping watch in number 003 city. Even if Luo Feng and the others sleep, they have to have someone keep watch. No one dared to relax, because this is a paradise for monsters, a den of monsters for humans, and a battlefield for fighters. Chapter 71. After a night, in the morning, Luo Feng stood on the balcony of his room on the 12th floor. The cold air of the winter morning permeated the air. As it touched his face, Luo Feng's entire body froze. It's around -5 degrees Celsius, laughed Gao Feng as he walked over. It's pretty cold. Luo Feng looked down from the balcony and pointed at the monsters that were searching for prey. But there are so many monsters in this sector early in the morning. Look, there are a total of 12 monsters in my field of vision, and 3 of them are commander level. Hee, no wonder number 003 city is the main camp of monsters. Gao Feng also laughed. Indeed, in a normal county, A commander-level monster would usually lead hundreds of normal monsters. It would be very impressive, with a huge entourage around it. And in the county where Luo Feng trained his blade technique, a commander-level monster was leading hundreds, even thousands, of normal soldier-level monsters. In a county, the less commander-level monsters there are, the more normal monsters the commander-level monsters will be leading. And in number 003 city, even in the outskirts, a commander-level monster usually leads 2 or 3 soldiers. Some of them were even a lone commander without an army. These are all the weaker commander-level monsters. They don't have any subordinates. And the powerful high-level commander-level monsters, even horde leader-level monsters, they all lead tens of thousands of subordinates. Gao Feng turned around and looked at the others. Everyone, wake up. Let's go down and hunt some monsters. Let's go, brothers. Let's go earn some money, laughed Chingu. This number 003 city is awesome. Commander-level monsters are everywhere. Wei Qing and Wei Tai's eyes were also flashing. Number 003 city is dangerous. However, danger and opportunity exist together. Even though there are too many powerful monsters here, if you aren't strong enough, you'll die easily. Even if you're strong enough, you'll die if you're surrounded by a monster horde. However, the commander-level monsters here usually don't have any subordinates, which makes hunting commander-level monsters much easier. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Luo Feng stood at the staircase and scanned the corner with his spiritual force. He waved his hand. No problem. There aren't any monsters within 20 meters. Usually, it was very easy for monsters to ambush them at the corners. And Luo Feng's spiritual force is the best detector. Following a spirit reader master is good for you. Chingu laughed. Everyone pay attention. Don't make any noise. The monster's ears are very sensitive. Gao Feng glared at Chingu, and Chingu immediately shut his mouth. Luo Feng took the lead with Gao Feng at the back. Wei Tai and Wei Qing were on both sides, while Chingu was in the middle. Luo Feng's gaze landed on the 3 horned boar monsters that were around 100 meters away. The leading horned boar had an enormous body, and its horn was completely black. Unlike the gray fur of a normal monster, the needle-like fur on its body was completely black. All of this showed its identity, low-level commander level. This is it, Luo Feng said quietly. That horned boar in front, everyone pay attention to the surroundings. I'll take care of it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Luo Feng took the lead and rushed over. The 4 people behind him naturally spread out according to their formation, paying attention to whether there are other commander-level monsters or human fighters that come to cause trouble. How? When the commander-level horned boar saw Luo Feng, a human, rush over, it immediately roared angrily. Its speed instantly soared to 100 meters per second, which is around 360 kilometers per hour, and its horn headed straight towards Luo Feng. With this kind of force, even a truck would be smashed into pieces by its size. Luo Feng held his ghost blade and maintained his normal speed of 60 to 70 meters per second. The two crossed each other. In an instant, Luo Feng's speed soared and his feet moved. His precise dodging made it so that the horned boar couldn't even touch Luo Feng. The ghost blade in Luo Feng's hand directly slashed upwards. During the slash, the ghost blade sped up twice, causing the blade to instantly become blurry. It turned into a blurry blade light. Whoosh! The cold blade light was like lightning. A cold light instantly slashed across the horned boar's neck. After that, the blade light became dreamy like mist and instantly dissipated. Blade technique, Thunderbolt. First success. Poochie. Poochie. Luo Feng's ghost blade seemed like 2 simple slashes, but it instantly cut the throats of the other 2 soldier-level horned boars. Rumble, the commander-level horned wild boar, whose life force had already dissipated, continued to fly for a dozen or so meters before falling to the ground with a rumble. It slid along the ground for a few meters before crashing into a thick tree that had been growing for tens of years, causing the entire tree to shake for a bit before finally stopping. Hee hee, Good kid, killing a beginner-level warlord-level monster with just his blade technique. Chungu and the others already surrounded him. Quite a bit of improvement. Gao Feng was also very happy. At this time, Gao Feng had already started dissecting the monster's corpse. Technique, blade technique, and rich experience combined together. Killing a beginner-level warlord-level monster was actually this easy. Luo Feng sighed in his heart. Luo Feng sighed in his heart. Since he killed over 10,000 monsters, Luo Feng was able to maintain absolute calmness in front of these monsters. His blade technique and agility technique were all perfectly utilized, using the least amount of strength to instantly kill the opponent. All right, harvest complete. Gao Feng let out a smile. Looks like we can kill quite a few commander-level monsters in one day. Let's go. The next one, Luo Feng, also smiled. The entire Fire Hammer squad was in high spirits. In number 003 city, even though Luo Feng predicted that killing monsters would be very efficient, when he actually fought, he realized, holy shit, how is this killing monsters? It's basically a money-printing machine. Even a money-printing machine wouldn't be as fast as Luo Feng and the others. The important materials of a low-level commander-level monster can usually be sold for 5 million to 15 million. The important materials of a medium-level commander-level monster can usually be sold for 10 million to 100 million. The important materials of a high-level commander-level monster can usually be sold for around 50 million to 600 million. Of course, there are some exceptions. For example, some extremely special monsters, or some high-level commander-level monsters that are close to being horde leader-level monsters. Naturally, the price will rise. However, most of them are in the same price range. The Fire Hammer squad kills around 10 commander-level monsters every day. Of course, almost all of them are low-level commanders. Their efficiency at making money is simply terrifying. After fighting for 10 days, Luo Feng and the others killed 92 low-level commander-level monsters and 3 medium-level commanders. The total price was estimated to be around 1 billion. After 10 consecutive days of high-intensity battles, Luo Feng and the others were quite tired, hence they had a good day of rest. After that, he continued to kill monsters. Only, the number of commander-level monsters in the area had clearly decreased. The 15th day. On the balcony of the 12th floor of the 18-story building, Luo Feng and his group were resting. Captain, there aren't many low-level commander monsters around here anymore, Chungu said helplessly. There's nothing we can do about it. We've been killing quite ruthlessly recently. Gao Feng chuckled. But there's no need to rush. Monsters move around in large numbers. According to my estimation, within 10 days, the number of monsters in this district will increase again. What we need to do is to stand guard here quietly. After all, we are the most familiar with this environment. Luo Feng nodded. In these 10 days, even though this small sector was huge, Luo Feng and the others still remembered it clearly. Number 003 city is still the best place to make money. Wei Tai couldn't help sighing. Even though this was mainly due to Luo Feng and Gao Feng's hard work, Wei Tai, Wei Qing, and Chungu also get some of the leftovers. If they split it up, each of them would earn over 100 million. In the past, Wei Tai and Wei Qing wouldn't even earn 100 million in a year when they searched for commander-level monsters in small cities and cities. But now they've surpassed it in 15 days. Of course, the greater the profit, the greater the danger. In these 10 days, Luo Feng and the others also encountered the danger of a bird attack. Luckily, they hid in a house and relied on Luo Feng's throwing knives to scare the bird monsters away. Earn a lot. Not much, laughed Gao Feng. It's normal for a spirit reader to earn a few billion a year. The reason we're able to survive here is mainly because of Luo Feng. Haha, Chungu, Wei Qing, and Wei Tai couldn't help but to laugh. Captain, don't say that. It's because of your help that hunting monsters is so much easier. Luo Feng was speaking the truth. One person can't pay attention to all the dangers around them at the same time. The other 3 members of the squad are responsible for keeping watch and clearing out any dangers. Only with the help of an intermediate-level warlord, like Gao Feng, will Luo Feng be more efficient. Luo Feng and the others were chatting and laughing casually, but their voices weren't loud. HM? Chun Gu, who was holding a heavy sniper rifle on the side, looked down through the scope and suddenly said quietly, F***CK, a big guy is coming. What? Luo Feng and the others practically grabbed the binoculars beside them at the same time. Luo Feng looked carefully. In a residential building far away, the corners of the walls were covered in moss and vines. And at this time, there was a gigantic python that was as thick as a person's waist and around 20 meters long on top of the moss and vines. This python's entire body was covered in parallel black lines, and the closer the black lines were to its head, the thicker the black lines were. At the very front of the gigantic python, there were two triangular snake heads. The foreheads of these two snake heads were slightly bulging. F***CK. Is it the poisonous black striped snake-type monster? Cursed Gao Feng. And it's the mutated twin-headed black striped snake? And it's about to grow horns and become a dragon. Luo Feng also took in a deep breath. A mutated twin-headed black striped snake that's about to become a dragon? This thing isn't easy to mess with. Chapter 72. A black striped snake that's about to become a dragon. It's definitely a high-level commander-level monster that's nearing the horde leader level. Gao Feng's expression was serious as he said in a low voice, and as a mutated twin-headed black striped snake, its poison is a bit stronger than a normal black striped snake. And it has 2 poison sacs. Each poison sac is worth twice the price of a normal black striped snake. In other words, this twin-headed black striped snake is worth the price of 4 black striped snakes of the same level. A black striped snake that's about to become a dragon is worth around 400 million. This twin-headed black striped snake can be sold for 1.6 billion. That's comparable to a normal low-level horde leader level monster. When Gao Feng said this number, everyone else's heart rate sped up. After fighting for around 10 days and killing over 100 commander-level monsters, none of them are worth as much as this twin-headed black striped snake. As you can imagine, killing powerful monsters is more efficient in earning money. Of course, this twin-headed black striped snake is extremely dangerous. As long as you get bitten by its poison, or if you're poisoned, you'll die for sure, said Gao Feng in a low voice. And it has 2 heads, so it can attack its enemies at the same time. Are we going to do this? Gao Feng looked at the other people in the squad, and then his gaze landed on Luo Feng. The others were silent, and also looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng has to make the decision. The twin-headed black striped snake is expensive, but it's also extremely dangerous. I'll do it. Luo Feng clenched his teeth. Captain, what about you? With the help of his spiritual force, his dodging abilities can be described as unpredictable. Luo Feng, if we encounter any trouble, help me. Gao Feng clenched his teeth. Fighters are always on a line between life and death. Wei Tai, give me your shield. Captain, here. Wei Tai didn't hesitate at all and gave his shield to Gao Feng. And Gao Feng put his heavy hammer on the ground. He held the shield in his left hand and the heavy hammer in his right. He mocked himself. After all this time, I rarely use a shield to fight. However, this twin-headed black striped snake is too dangerous, so I'm a bit scared if I don't use a shield. Captain, when the time comes, I'll attack from afar and you'll attack from close, Luo Feng said quietly. If something happens, I'll use my spiritual force on your shield or heavy hammer, and you can use it to dodge. Understood, Gao Feng nodded. Luo Feng looked at the other 3 and said, the captain and I will go down, you guys stay here. All right, Brother Chun, take aim with your sniper rifle, in case someone tries to rob us at the last moment. Don't worry, I'm always aiming below. Chingu smiled. If you want me to shoot, just let me know. Yes. Through the communicator watch, the team members could contact each other at any time. Captain, let's go down. Luo Feng and Gao Feng both swiftly went downstairs. Chun Gu and the others can't do anything against a monster of this level. Luo Feng and Gao Feng swiftly went downstairs and followed a ruined stone path from memory towards the location of the twin-headed black striped snake. Boom! Hiss! The shrill hissing of the snake came from afar. Luo Feng and Gao Feng glanced at each other. At this time, the tactical communications watch on their wrists also slightly vibrated. Luo Feng lowered his head to look, and a line of words appeared on the tactical communications watch. 3 people suddenly appeared and are currently fighting the twin-headed black striped snake. Gao Feng also received the news. He said in a low voice, "I didn't expect that someone would beat us to it. However, let's go take a look." "Let's go," Luo Feng nodded. The two of them swiftly approached and quickly arrived at the corner of a residential building. Through the corner, Luo Feng could see the twin-headed black striped snake and 3 men fighting a few dozen meters away. These 3 men seemed to be from West Asia and South Asia. Their hair was slightly curly and their skin was slightly dark. The leader of these 3 men was a bald man with a sturdy body. He held a dark golden long rod that was around 3 meters long. The long rod in his hand was like a swimming dragon. Every time the triangular head of the twin-headed black striped snake hissed and charged over, that long rod would quickly smash over. Even if it didn't hit the head, it would still push the twin-headed black striped snake away. Sometimes a nod from a long rod would cause the twin-headed black striped snake to hiss angrily. The other 2 had a square shield in one hand and a gigantic scimitar in the other. The 2 of them stayed close together and attacked together. Their coordination was extremely ingenious. Pong! The rusted fitness and entertainment facilities in the sector were directly smashed apart by the tail of the twin-headed black striped snake. The bald brute also retreated rapidly. The long rod in his hand turned into a whirlwind that blocked all the scrap metal, and he himself also retreated. Good rod technique, Gao Feng, who was watching from afar, couldn't help but to say quietly, "This bald guy should be an advanced warlord-level fighter." The other 2 should be intermediate warlord-level fighters, Luo Feng nodded. That bald brute dared to fight the twin-headed black striped snake head-on, so it's easy to tell how strong he is. Hiss hiss, the twin-headed black striped snake seemed to have gone mad. The cold eyes of the 2 gigantic snake heads made people's hearts go cold. It opened its bloody mouth time and time again to bite. Under the twin-headed black striped snake's attacks, the 3 people retreated rapidly and started talking. After hearing the conversation between the 3, Luo Feng and Gao Feng instantly determined they're Indians. After the series of battles just now, one of the twin-headed black striped snake's head was already bleeding. It was hit by the bald brute's rod. However, this injury clearly wasn't fatal. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 3 Indians swiftly rushed towards Luo Feng's direction. "You 2, come at me if you can," the bald brute said awkwardly in Chinese. And at this time, the twin-headed black striped snake was roaring as it rushed over. Luo Feng and Gao Feng only sneered and didn't say anything. They swiftly dodged to the side. They weren't stupid enough to fight the twin-headed black striped snake head-on. The leader of the 3 Indians, the bald brute, couldn't help but to curse under his breath. The 3-meter-long rod in his hand instantly shot towards the twin-headed black striped snake. Now's the time Luo Feng, who was dodging, already had a black throwing knife in his hand. This is a 9 series throwing knife. He swung his hand like lightning. Whoosh! The throwing knife turned into a cold light as it shot towards the twin-headed black striped snake's left head. As an existence that's about to become a dragon, the twin-headed black striped snake has high intelligence. When it saw that the unassuming human actually threw a throwing knife, its left head immediately shook. Keep in mind that a snake's head is already extremely fast. The left head of this twin-headed black striped snake instantly became a blur. "You're too smart for your own good." Luo Feng sneered. "Change." He intentionally threw the throwing knife with his hand to make the smart twin-headed black striped snake think that he's using a hidden weapon. Normally, after throwing a throwing knife, it can't change direction. Unfortunately, Luo Feng isn't some hidden weapon expert, but he's 10 times, no, 100 times better than a hidden weapon expert. Whoosh! When the throwing knife was about a meter away from the twin-headed black striped snake, it slightly changed direction. And just this slight change in direction caused the throwing knife to directly shoot towards one of the eyes on the left head of the twin-headed black striped snake. Hiss! The twin-headed black striped snake angrily hissed. In that short moment, its left head actually dodged. Keep in mind that Luo Feng's throwing knife is already several times the speed of sound, which is even faster than a sniper rifle bullet. A distance of 1 meter at several times the speed of sound isn't even a thousandth of a second. Because the throwing knife is too fast, even Luo Feng can't accurately change direction at a distance of 1 meter or 1.5 meters. Since the throwing knife is too fast, if he's just a bit slower, the throwing knife could have already traveled 10 meters. Even if his reaction speed is fast, in that short moment, Luo Feng can only change direction once. But in that extremely short moment, not only did the twin-headed black striped snake react, it was even able to make a dodging movement. Of course, because the time was too short, the twin-headed black striped snake was only dodging under extreme circumstances. Pu. The throwing knife stabbed into the twin-headed black striped snake's mouth. After creating an opening, the throwing knife brushed past the scales on the twin-headed black striped snake's neck. Chi. It only left a white mark as the throwing knife directly rebounded into the ground. What a terrifying defense! Luo Feng was shocked. What an amazing dodging ability. Luo Feng was startled. What shocking dodging ability. This twin-headed black striped snake can actually dodge such a short distance change of direction. This is going to be troublesome. Luo Feng was very clear that it would be extremely difficult for him to finish off this twin-headed black striped snake. Hiss! The twin-headed black striped snake furiously turned its head towards Luo Feng. Its left head had a gigantic opening, and dark green blood continuously flowed out. Good! Yelled the bald brute with the long rod. As he retreated, he yelled in awkward Chinese, "Let's team up and split it 50-50, as he looked towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng and Gao Feng exchanged glances. "All right," said Luo Feng. "Okay." Gao Feng even intentionally made a hand gesture. The three Indians and Luo Feng's group instantly made a decision to team up. The bald brute's strength was recognized by Luo Feng and the others, and the power of Luo Feng's throwing knife was recognized by the three Indians. Only when you have enough strength can you receive the respect and attention of others. And outside of the Wanku Dream City sector, there was a 9-man fighter squad slowly advancing. In this 9-man squad, there were members of the Tiger Fong squad. HM? That's the sound of a snake, and a powerful one at that, said one of the 9 people. One of the 9 people, a gray-haired old man among them, said. Chapter 73. In the dilapidated Wank Dream City, there was a rumbling sound. Ka! A snake tail as thick as a man's waist lashed out, like lightning, towards the 2 Indian men who were wielding giant machetes. The 2 Indian martial artists leaped up 5 to 6 meters high and grabbed onto the window railings of the residential building next to them. As for the snake tail, it smashed into the big tree next to it. The trunk of the big tree, which was about 5 to 6 meters high, broke with a loud crack and fell down with a rumble. "Haha, you want to kill me?" At this time, Luo Feng, who was holding a shield, was sprinting. The 2 heads of the twin-headed black striped snake madly chased after Luo Feng. Whoosh! Whoosh! 2 throwing knives came out with a wave of his hand. It looked like Luo Feng was using his hands to swing the knives, but in reality, the moment the 2 throwing knives were thrown out, they were completely controlled by a spiritual force, causing the speed of the 2 throwing knives to rise to an astonishing level. His eyes could only blur as 2 cold flashes of light enveloped the twin-headed black striped snake. Hiss, hiss, the twin-headed black striped snake roared and dodged. Change! Luo Feng's gaze was cold. The 2 flying daggers changed their direction slightly, but not by much. In addition, the flying dagger was much faster than a sniper rifle bullet, so the others could not tell the direction of the flying dagger at all. Puchi! Chi! One of the 2 throwing knives brushed past the left side of the snake's head, but the other threw knife hit the left side of the snake's head. Since the start of the battle, Luo Feng has released 6 throwing knives, and all 6 of them attacked the left side of the snake's head. At this moment, the left side of the snake's head was covered in blood, and the injury was terrifying. Luo Feng's body was as light as a swallow, his running speed terrifying. Good. while the twin-headed black striped snake was chasing after Luo Feng. The Indian leader, who was the leader, excitedly yelled. Taking advantage of the fact that the twin-headed black striped snake was chasing after Luo Feng, he mercilessly stabbed towards the right head of the twin-headed black striped snake. The double-headed black striped snake did not dare to use its head to block the alloy rod. It could only try its best to dodge. One had to know that this long rod did not seem to be very powerful and was not as sharp as the tip of the spear. However, when he stabbed down, the power was concentrated on the tip of the staff. The area of the tip of the staff was not large, but that small area could produce the effect of a blunt weapon. "Indians, come on!" Gao Feng roared. The other two Indian martial artists, who were wielding giant machetes and shields, joined Gao Feng and attacked the twin-headed black striped snake's body at close range. 1. To prevent this twin-headed black striped snake from using its tail to attack Luo Feng and the Indian leader. 2. They also wanted to attack this huge snake's weak spot. The vital point of a snake was 7 inches. Of course, 7 inches was an imaginary number. The main point was the vital point of the abdomen and the heart. Although the giant snake was confident that its defense was strong enough, it didn't dare to let Gao Feng and the other two attack its vitals. Therefore, it kept whipping and twisting its tail, trying its best to deal with Gao Feng and the other two. Whoosh! Luo Feng's left shield was affected by his spiritual force. With a push from his feet, he shot towards Captain Gao Feng's position. When he got close to Gao Feng, Luo Feng said quietly, "Captain, when you get close, use your hammer and smash towards the left head of this snake." He understood. Gao Feng immediately understood what Luo Feng meant. Luo Feng's movements on the battlefield were erratic. He didn't get close to the huge snake at all, always relying on his astonishing speed to move around. "Ah!" The Indian leader suddenly howled. His face was flushed red, and the blood in his body was pumped to its limit. In an instant, his entire body was like a legendary Buddhist arhat. The rod in his hand suddenly exploded in speed, and his entire body charged towards the twin-headed black striped snake like he didn't care about his life. The rod in his hand instantly reached its limit, and in the blink of an eye, dozens of shadows of the rod smashed towards it. Pung! Pung! 2 of the dozens of shadows of the rod smashed into the right head of the snake. The gigantic right head of the snake couldn't help but to shake, as if it was a bit dizzy. With a boom, the right head of the snake directly smashed into the ground below. The left head of the twin-headed black striped snake immediately let out a horrifying roar. Its gigantic, soft, and long body suddenly moved. It actually shot up and swiftly slithered away in an attempt to escape. "Hurry!" The Indian leader, the bald brute, hurriedly roared. Whoosh! Gao Feng, who was extremely close to the twin-headed black striped snake, roared, "Die!" Using all the strength in his body, he fiercely swung the heavy hammer in his hand. The heavy hammer was like a cannonball as it smashed towards the left head of the twin-headed black striped snake. The left head of the twin-headed black striped snake immediately dodged. Luo Feng's eyes flashed as he used all of his spiritual force on the heavy hammer. In an instant, the speed of the heavy hammer greatly increased. Pung! The twin-headed black striped snake instantly dodged. Even though the heavy hammer didn't smash into its head, it still smashed into its neck. With the help of Gao Feng's extreme strength and Luo Feng's spiritual force, the impact of this hammer was incomparably strong. The left head of the twin-headed black striped snake couldn't help but to fall to the ground in a daze. However, when it regained some consciousness and wanted to raise its head, Luo Feng let out a smile. Poochie! A black throwing knife instantly broke through the ground and directly shot into the head of the left head of the snake. The left head never raised again. Piu! The alloy long rod in the Indian leader's hand was like lightning as it directly pierced through the eyeball of the right head and pierced through the head of the twin-headed black striped snake. The twin-headed black striped snake had already lost its life, but its gigantic body was still twitching unconsciously until it gradually stopped moving. The Indian leader couldn't help but to laugh loudly. Beautiful, Gao Feng also happily picked up his heavy hammer. Luo Feng, on the other hand, smiled as he picked up his throwing knives. From start to finish, the Indian leader probably didn't even realize that he was controlling his weapons with his spiritual force. Especially at the last strike, when the twin-headed black striped snake's head fell to the ground. Luo Feng controlled the throwing knives to break through the ground and directly pierce through the head of the snake. Friends, the bald brute smiled as he greeted Luo Feng and Gao Feng. You're not patient either, laughed Luo Feng. He could tell that the bald brute used a desperate move at the end. Even now, the bald brute's face was red and his veins were still popping out. You guys take half? We'll take half, said the bald brute. Luo Feng pointed at the left head of the snake and slightly smiled. The snake's scales will also take half. Both sides felt each other's strength. Whether it's Luo Feng's squad or the Indian squad, both probably have a hot weapon fighter aiming at them with a sniper rifle in the dark. So the atmosphere was good. Luo Feng and Gao Feng started dissecting the left head of the twin-headed black striped snake, and the Indian squad started dissecting the right head. Luo Feng, this blade sure is vicious, said Gao Feng lightly. Luo Feng smiled and took out the black throwing knife from the already dissected head of the snake. This was the reason why he killed the left head. Suddenly, Luo Feng and Gao Feng swiftly turned around. The faces of the three Indian squad also changed as they looked over. Not far away, 9 human fighters walked over. Most of them were yellow-skinned. When these 9 people saw the gigantic snake corpse on the ground, they instantly determined that the corpse was worth at least $1 billion. This huge amount of wealth caused quite a few people's eyes to be filled with greed. Please go away. The bald brute, the Indian leader, spoke in awkward Chinese. Who would have thought that I would meet the Tiger Fawn squad here as well? They really are like ghosts that won't go away. Gao Feng's gaze swept across the group of people in front of him. Luo Feng watched silently. Other than the 6 members of the Tiger Fawn squad, there was an old man, a tall white brute, and a mixed youth. Ah, Gao Feng, you guys actually teamed up with the Indians? TSK. But it's really rare for you guys to be able to kill this double-headed black striped snake. The Tiger Fawn captain coldly laughed. If you know what's good for you, then hurry up and scram. Our Thunderbolt squad can still spare your life. Otherwise, TSK, don't blame us. Oh, this is Senior Lu, the leader of our Thunderbolt squad. This is Mr. Quarren, our vice captain. Senior Lu was the old man, and Sharon was the white man. Luo Feng's gaze was cold. This is my first time coming to 003 City. This prey belongs to me. You can leave now, the mixed-blood youth said with a smile. The old man and the white brute stood on both sides of the mixed blood, scanning Luo Feng's group. Whoever dares to steal my prey, die. The Indian leader, the bald brute, said in a low voice. The 2 Indians wielding gigantic machetes beside him were also filled with killing intent. Was it easy to kill a double-headed black-striped snake? First of all, it's rare to meet such a rare, mutated monster. Second of all, this battle was quite tough. Gao Feng also wielded a heavy hammer as his eyes flashed with killing intent. If you want to steal it, then come. Luo Feng stepped on the snake's head and sneered as he looked at the group of people in front of him. If we can kill a double-headed black-striped snake, then you guys. Oh yeah, my brother's sniper rifle is aiming at you. Our sniper rifle is also aiming at you. One of the 3 Indians wielding a gigantic machete said coldly. Luo Feng, Gao Feng, and the 3 Indians stood beside the snake's corpse and coldly looked at the 9 people in front of them. Sniper rifle? Quite a few of the 9 people couldn't help but to raise their heads and look at the surrounding residential buildings. However, they couldn't see anyone in the ruined residential buildings. And because they couldn't see anything, they were even more afraid. The Tiger Fawn squad was clear that the Fire Hammer squad had a sniper, Chungu. And how could the Indian squad not have a hot weapon expert? Chapter 74. A heavy sniper rifle can barely threaten a low-level commander-level monster. However, monsters and humans are different. Humans are strong, but their skin and muscle defense is much weaker than a monster's fur and scales. This is why human fighters wear battle uniforms. If an intermediate-level warlord gets shot, they'll be heavily injured even if they don't die. However, a sniper rifle doesn't pose much of a threat to an advanced-level warlord. As for a war god, a sniper rifle can't threaten a war god anymore. Looks like the mixed youth that the old man and the white brute are protecting is the most important person in this squad. Luo Feng's gaze swept across the Thunderbolt squad in front of him. Some of the 9 members of the Thunderbolt squad raised their heads and looked towards the surrounding residential buildings to find where the sniper rifle was. Some of them exchanged glances with each other. Silence. Luo Feng, Gao Feng, the Indian, and the Thunderbolt squad were silent for a bit. Senior Lu, the Tiger Fong captain, looked towards the cold, gray-haired old man. The gray-haired old man frowned as he looked at him, and the Tiger Fong captain immediately stopped talking. The gray-haired old man whispered into the mixed youth's ear, "Young master, since you're here to train, you should personally deal with those monsters." The mixed youth looked at the old man, and then turned his head towards the white brute. The white brute also slightly nodded. "All right, let's go," the mixed youth ordered helplessly. His father already gave a strict order. After entering the wilderness, you have to listen to the 2 bodyguards. The captain of this squad is the old man, but in reality, the leader is this mixed youth. Now that the mixed youth gave the order, the members of the Tiger Fong squad could only glare at Gao Feng and Luo Feng. Zhang Zhe, who even cursed under his breath. "Luo Feng, you're lucky." Zhang Zhe, who didn't hide his disgust towards Luo Feng. He didn't need to hide it either. The Tiger Fong squad and the Firehammer squad have always been enemies. Soon enough, the 9 members of the Thunderbolt squad left. Wanka Dream City took up a huge amount of space. The Thunderbolt squad continued to advance in this sector. "Panya, on the way," the old man frowned as he spoke. Senior Lu, the captain of the Tiger Fong squad, approached him, his posture very low. The elder named Lu said in a low voice, "Since your Tiger Fong squad accepted this mission, then you should know that the young master's safety is number 1. That dual-headed black-striped snake is indeed a treasure, but it's not as important as young master's safety. If something happens to young master, not only will I not be able to escape, but your Tiger Fong squad will also be buried." The Tiger Fong captain's heart trembled as he nodded. "Understood. And it's good that you understand." The old man named Lu said coldly, "In a moment, we will stay at an abandoned Jinjiang hotel next to Vank Dream City. Let the young master hunt monsters in the surrounding area. If you want to snatch other people's prey, do it yourselves. Don't implicate the young master." "I understand," the Tiger Fong captain replied, but he was cursing in his heart. Which team of martial artists who dared to enter City 003 was weak? If it wasn't for the 2 high-level warlord-level martial artists, the Tiger Fong squad wouldn't have the ability to steal from others. The Tiger Fong captain retreated to the other members of the Tiger Fong squad. "Captain, this Firehammer squad strength seems to have increased by quite a bit," the one-eyed middle-aged man said in a low voice. "They actually teamed up with the Indians to kill the dual-headed black-striped snake. Even if the Indians were the main force, since the Indians were willing to team up with them, the Firehammer squad must have some strength." The Tiger Fong captain slightly nodded. "I understand. If the Firehammer squad dares to enter number 003 city, then I know they've increased in strength. Captain, we can't hesitate any longer. Especially that Luo Feng, who just became a fighter not long ago. I heard he's already a beginner-level warlord," Zhang Zhe, who hurriedly said. "If you ask who has the biggest grudge against Luo Feng in the squad, it's clearly him, Zhang Zhe who. This kid's potential is indeed shocking," the Tiger Fong captain said in a low voice. "If we let our enemies grow, they'll only become more and more of a threat to us. Since we met them in the wilderness, that's fine. I'll think of a way to kill them in the next few days. If worst comes to worst, I'll spend some money to ask Senior Lu and Senior Yu for help." On the grass between the buildings that reeked of blood, the gigantic snake's corpse lay there. Luo Feng, Gao Feng, and the Indian trio were dissecting the entire snake. Not only did they take out the poison sac, but they also took out the snake's gallbladder. Of course, they also had to skin the twin-headed black striped snake. The value of this snake's skin isn't low either. Half. The Indian trio and Luo Feng's group swiftly separated the large amount of corpse materials. Whether it's toughness or toughness, these snake scales are both shocking. Gao Feng couldn't help but to sigh as he touched the snake scales. These snake scales are definitely one of the most important materials for creating battle uniforms. As of now, humanity's most important invention, Kaluo alloy, is mainly used to create various monsters. Of course, there's also the blue-gold metal mine from the moon, which is ultimately used to create Kaluo alloy. Kaluo alloy allows human fighters to have battle uniforms with even higher defense than monsters, and it allows humans to have incomparably sharp blades. Even some hot weapons become much more powerful. Happy working together. The leader of the Indians, the bald brute, greeted Luo Feng and Gao Feng in awkward Chinese. Haha. Happy Gao Feng also laughed. After that, Luo Feng and Gao Feng carried their bulging backpacks and headed upstairs. The snake scales seemed to cover a huge area, but in reality, they were extremely thin. Even if half of the snake scales were to overlap, they wouldn't be able to fill a backpack. A fighter's backpack has astonishing elasticity. Also, according to the backpack's mechanism, the backpack can be gradually expanded. The largest backpack can be as tall as an adult. However, the snake scales don't need to be expanded to this extent. They swiftly arrived at the 12th floor of the residential building. Once they entered, a wave of cheers greeted them. A warm welcome, Wei Tai purposefully shouted. Welcome, Captain and Luo Feng. Back from the battle, Chenggu also purposefully shouted. Of course they were happy. With Luo Feng and Gao Feng's successful return, they'll get quite a bit of money. Gao Feng didn't have much of a smile on his face. You guys saw the Tiger Feng squad, right? I saw them. Chenggu, Wei Tai, and Wei Qing's faces all went cold. Chenggu clenched his teeth. I really wanted to kill them with one shot and get revenge for old Zhang. In the entire squad, Chenggu clearly had the strongest relationship with Zhang Ke. They all came from the Mingyue sector. They went through life and death together and returned home together. After all these years, they were even closer than real brothers. However, Chenggu also knew that he couldn't shoot just now. First of all, he could only kill one person with one shot. Secondly, if he shot, the Thunderbolt squad would immediately attack, and then the situation would get out of hand. Brother Chun, where are the members of the Tiger Feng squad right now? Asked Luo Feng. We've been keeping an eye on them. At the northern window, Wei Qing held a pair of binoculars and pointed downwards. That group just left the Dream City sector and are heading east along that street. Whoosh, whoosh. Luo Feng and the others immediately dashed over. Luo Feng was the first to take the binoculars and look downwards. Indeed, the 9 members of the Thunderbolt squad were advancing on the street a few miles away. Luckily, Luo Feng and the others chose a good residential building. It was the northernmost high-rise residential building. To the north of their residential building were only a few villas and other buildings, which allowed them to have a clear view of the north. Captain, Brother Chun, said Luo Feng. The members of the Firehammer squad all looked towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng couldn't help but to clench his fist and grit his teeth as he said in a low voice, I can't forget about Brother Zhang. I swore a long time ago that if I meet the trash of the Tiger Feng squad in the wilderness, I'll kill them. Luo Feng, what do you mean? Gao Feng was shocked. I'm preparing to follow them in secret and find an opportunity to kill all of the members of the Tiger Feng squad. Since they want to kill us, of course we have to make the first move. Luo Feng couldn't forget the 2 bullets from the sniper rifle. One of them was barely dodged by his spiritual force. The other one crippled Brother Zhang. Luo Feng, I'll go with you. We have to avenge old Zhang, said Chenggu as he clenched his teeth. Brother Chun, I'm more confident if I go, commanded Luo Feng. I have my spiritual force. Luo Feng roared. I have my spiritual force, so even if I meet a war god, I can just fly and escape. This is the scary part of a spirit reader. Even if a war god is 10 times or 100 times stronger than them, A weak spirit reader can still fly. Other than spirit readers, only existences surpassing the war god level can fly. Chingu, Luo Feng is right. You'll just be a burden, commanded Gao Feng. Chingu clenched his teeth. The captain's words were harsh, but he knew that the captain was doing it for his own good. And if we want to kill the Tiger Feng squad, wouldn't the Tiger Feng squad also want to kill us? Said Gao Feng. We found out about their plot against us last time, so of course they don't want us to grow stronger. However, they haven't met us in the wilderness. Now that they've met us, they'll probably make a move. Everyone on the scene was shocked. Right. With the way the Tiger Feng squad does things, they definitely won't let them grow stronger. We've hunted enough monsters this time anyway. Our backpacks are almost full. The rest of our squad can return to the resupplying base, said Gao Feng. After that, Gao Feng looked towards Luo Feng. Luo Feng, you're a spirit reader, so your ability to escape in this city is who knows how many times stronger than us. However, you still have to be careful and don't be careless, Luo Feng nodded. As they spoke, the group of people took out their binoculars and observed where the Thunderbolt squad went. They entered the Jin Jiang Chain Hotel, said Chungu excitedly. Looks like we'll have to use that place as a temporary base. Let's not waste any more time. We'll leave now, said Gao Feng straightforwardly. Luo Feng also stood up and sent the captain and the others off. This place was the edge of the suburbs, so Luo Feng sent the captain and the others to the highway in just 2 to 3 miles. This place is already out of 003 city's densely built area, so there are very few monsters left. With the Firehammer squad strength, it would be strange if something happened to them on the highway. Luo Feng, be careful. Gao Feng and the other members of the Firehammer squad all looked towards Luo Feng. This time, Luo Feng is going to eliminate the problem for the Firehammer squad by himself. Captain, don't worry. None of the members of the Tiger Feng squad will survive, laughed Luo Feng. After that, he turned his head and became a blur as he swiftly disappeared into the distance. He charged into the densely built area. Chapter 75. The sky was gray, and Luo Feng was like a monkey as he swiftly and agilely moved through the concrete outskirts of number 003 city. Number 003 city was definitely the biggest city back in the day. Even the outskirts were filled with skyscrapers and residential areas. The land was being used extremely well. Luo Feng would sometimes run extremely fast and then suddenly stop and hide in a corner. Only after the 10 or so monsters passed by did Luo Feng continue moving forward. With his spiritual force scanning his surroundings, Luo Feng could clearly determine if there was any danger in front of him or around a corner. This one, Luo Feng's body was like a cannonball as he directly jumped into the window on the 3rd floor of a 3-story villa. No one has lived in this house for dozens of years, so the house was covered in dust. However, the household appliances could still be seen with a glance. Some of them were already broken. Luo Feng swiftly flipped over the mattress on the bed. The other side was indeed much cleaner. After tidying up a bit, he could sleep. After putting down his backpack, Luo Feng swiftly took out his binoculars and went to the window on the north. The window was covered in dust, causing the originally transparent glass to look like black glass. After opening the window halfway, Luo Feng used his binoculars and looked towards the north. His current position was within Wank Dream City sector. From this position, he could clearly see the Jinjiang hotel chain in the north. He could also see the street in front of the hotel. The distance between them was around 2 miles. With Luo Feng's eyesight, he could clearly see the situation on the street, even without the binoculars. Jinjiang, Luo Feng stood in front of the window and silently watched. 5 minutes later, Luo Feng had a happy expression on his face. So it's that room. Through the binoculars, Luo Feng could clearly see 2 people standing on one of the balconies on the 6th floor of the hotel 2 miles away. These 2 people were precisely Zhang Zehu and the gunner named Li Xiao. You have to wait for an opportunity. Luo Feng put down his binoculars and began his days of waiting. At this time, in the Jinjiang hotel chain, the Tiger Feng captain coldly said, "Tiger, Ah Xiao, you 2 watch carefully. You have to find a Firehammer squad's hiding place. According to my calculations, if their squad's Chungu wants to use a sniper rifle, then they'll definitely be at a higher place. That's why you need to search the upper floors of those buildings. Yes, Captain Zhang Zhehu and Ah Shao stood on the balcony, using binoculars to look at the tall buildings in Dream City. Panya, there's no problem with the information you gave me about the Firehammer squad, right? The gray-haired old man named Lu frowned. The Tiger Fong captain said, there's definitely no problem. The information on these 6 people is extremely accurate. The only variable is this Luo Fong. He was recruited by the dojo of limits ahead of time, so his talent is extremely high. His strength should have reached the junior warlord level. Yes. The old man named Lu nodded slightly. In that case, Panya, wait for your team members to find the position of the Firehammer squad. Then come find me. Yes. The Tiger Fong captain replied with a smile. Unfortunately, the Tiger Fong squad members didn't find any traces of the Firehammer squad, even when it was dark. The second morning. Young Master. According to the training plan, Young Master's target this morning is a low-level commander. It's a strong but slow monster. When the time comes, call long and I won't do anything. The old man, surnamed Lu, smiled. The mixed-blood youth laughed. All right, you and Sharon can watch from the side. I'll handle this myself. The white brawny man also smiled. Panya. The old man named Lu turned his head and ordered, the 2 people from the Tiger Fong squad who were on guard yesterday will rest. The others will come with us. Understood. The Tiger Fong captain, Panya, grinned. Right now, the Tiger Fong squad has 2 intermediate-level warlords and 4 beginner-level warlords. Tai Tu Adong. You 2 were on guard yesterday, so you can rest here today, ordered Panya. Protecting the young master is their #1 priority, so if they have to stay, they have to leave the 2 weakest. And the 2 weakest members of the Tiger Fong squad are naturally 2 of the 4 beginner-level warlords. Today it's Tai Tu and Adong. Tomorrow, it's Tiger Z and Ah Shao. They'll take turns. Understood. The bald brute and Adong, who was wiping his gun, laughed. Let's go, ordered the old man named Lu. The mixed-blood youth, the old man named Lu, the white brute, and the 4 members of the Tiger Fong squad all left the hotel. Only the bald brute and Adong were left in the empty room. Fuck, it feels good to have a powerful old man. The bald man could not help but say, to accumulate experience in fighting against monsters, you can hire 2 high-level warlords as your bodyguards, and you even asked our entire squad to protect you. TSK, TSK. When I was out in the world in the past, I risked my life to fight for my life. Dong sneered. How can we compare to them? Didn't you hear? That Senior Lu, or whatever. He even said like a butler. This morning, the young master's target is a beginner-level commander. It's strong, but it's slow. Fuck, he even planned out the order of the training. Which type of monster to fight first, and which type of monster to fight later. The wilderness is filled with danger. How can a fighter have a choice? Is it possible to immediately shout, I won't fight this monster, when you meet a powerful monster? If you don't fight, the monster will chase you and force you to fight. The young master is different. If he meets a powerful monster, then Senior Lu will take care of it. He's waiting for a beginner-level commander for his young master practice on. The bald brute shook his head and laughed. After waking up early in the morning, Luo Feng, who has been waiting, quickly discovered that the 7 members of the Thunderbolt squad left the hotel. 7 people? Aren't there 9 of them? Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. The other 2 should still be in the hotel. Luo Feng was very clear about his own strength. He can definitely defeat an intermediate-level warlord, but it's hard to say what he can do against an advanced-level warlord fighter. If he ambushes them, he might be able to instantly kill them. But if he fails, then it'll be troublesome, since in a direct confrontation, even an advanced-level warlord can instantly dodge a sniper rifle bullet. An advanced-level warlord's reaction speed is much faster than his own. Out of the 9 members of the Thunderbolt squad, the white brute and the old veteran named Lu are most likely advanced-level warlords. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant and try to steal the twin-headed black, striped snake's corpse. If I go against the 9 of them by myself, ambushing and luck, I might succeed. However, as long as one of them spreads the news that I'm the killer through the watch, I'll be in big trouble. Luo Feng was very clear that from the attitude of the old veteran named Lu and the white brute towards the mixed youth, and how they called him young master. That mixed youth's background is extremely terrifying. Since he can arrange for 2 advanced level warlords to be his bodyguards, it means that the big figure behind this mixed youth is at least a war god. Perhaps he has even more power than a war god. Right now, there are only 2 people in the hotel. Should I kill them? Luo Feng hesitated for a bit and then rejected the idea. I can't kill them. If I kill these 2, I'll kill them. If I kill these 2, the other 7 who are still alive will definitely be on guard. If I want to kill the Tiger Fawn captain and Zhang Zehu, then it'll be troublesome. Endure. I don't believe that I won't get my chance. Days passed. The Thunderbolt squad didn't find any traces of the Firehammer squad, and Luo Feng didn't find the best opportunity to attack either. Every time the Thunderbolt squad leaves the hotel, they leave the 2 people who are on guard duty behind. On the first day, it's Tai Tu and Dong. On the second day, it's Tiger and Xiao. Taking turns, Luo Feng endured for an entire 9 days. F***CK. Too regular. Luo Feng's face was bitter. This Thunderbolt squad is basically that young master's nanny squad. Luo Feng didn't just watch the hotel these past few days. He also secretly observed the 7 people who came out to hunt. He wanted to see if he could find an opportunity for the Tiger Fong squad and the old veteran named Lu to split up. However, he didn't find any. The Thunderbolt squad has been protecting the mixed youth and never strayed too far away, giving Luo Feng no chance at all. The 10th day, if I keep enduring like this, I probably won't even have a chance when they return to the headquarters city. I can't wait anymore. Luo Feng clenched his teeth and a cold light flashed across his eyes. Today is the 10th day, so Zhang Zehu and that Gunnerly Xiao should be guarding the hotel. Zhang Zehu, humph, I'll kill you 2 today. Xinjiang Hotel Chain. Tiger, Xiao, you 2 haven't slept all night, so rest well, smiled the Tiger Fawn captain. Understood, Captain. Zhang Zehu and Li Xiao both smiled as they replied. Let's go. Under the command of the old veteran named Lu, the Tiger Fawn captain and the others followed the old veteran named Lu and the others. A total of 7 people left the hotel. As he watched these 7 people leave the hotel, Luo Feng also quietly left his base and headed towards the hotel along another path. Chapter 76. The winter morning was extremely cold. There was even frost on the remains of some monsters on the ground. Luo Feng was quietly strolling in this alley. In the distance, there were 2 shadow cats that had their heads lowered as they chewed on the flesh of another iron fur boar. However, when they saw a human walking over, these 2 shadow cats actually dodged with a whoosh. Monsters have a bit of intelligence. The human fighters in number 003 city are all very powerful, so 1 or 2 soldier-level monsters can't stop them at all. Those 2 shadow cats are probably gathering the other shadow cats. Luo Feng swiftly passed through the alley and continued forward. He purposely took a big detour and wasted some time on the way. He slowly moved forward, and only after half an hour did he arrive at the back door of the hotel on the north side. The back door of the hotel was extremely dirty. There were dark bloodstains on the ground that even the rain couldn't wash away. Luo Feng stood there by himself. It's been half an hour. The 7 members of the Thunderbolt squad should be far away by now. Luo Feng looked at the broken back door in front of him. Luo Feng looked at the broken back door in front of him and immediately used his spiritual force on his 2 bracers, shield, and blade. This powerful force made Luo Feng's body as light as a swallow. Every step he took was extremely light. Upstairs, he walked along the stairs step by step, not making a single sound. Luo Feng was extremely careful. However, when he reached the 3rd floor, he saw a gigantic mastiff tiger monster slowly moving forward in the hallway. It also noticed Luo Feng, the human fighter. Both sides noticed each other at the same time. Luo Feng was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. Whoosh! Whoosh! Two black shadows instantly flashed past the mastiff tiger monster. The mastiff tiger monster didn't even have time to roar before its gigantic head was chopped off. The two throwing knives flew in a circle in the distance and returned to the knife pouch outside of his pants. Phew, not bad. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Luckily, this monster didn't roar. If it attracted Zhang Ze, Hu, and Li Zhao's attention, then it would be troublesome, even though killing Zhang Ze, Hu, and Li Xiao was as easy as killing chickens. However, Zhang Ze, Hu, and Li Xiao, who are on high alert, might contact the other members of the Thunderbolt Squad before they die, and let the other members of the Thunderbolt Squad know that a human fighter is trying to assassinate them. Then Luo Feng's following actions will definitely be 10 times, 100 times more difficult. 6th floor. When Luo Feng reached the 6th floor, he couldn't help but to let out a smile. Thankfully, he only met one monster from the 1st floor to the 6th floor. The Thunderbolt Squad probably swept the area when they first came in, and that mastiff tiger monster probably just entered the hotel not too long ago. In the hallway of the 6th floor, Luo Feng slowly walked forward. The room with the window facing south, the 8th window from east to west, Luo Feng wasn't sure which room the 8th window corresponded to. It should be one of these 3 or 4 rooms. Luo Feng held his breath. His body was as light as a feather and didn't make a single sound. He walked to one of the rooms and stopped. He stuck his ear to the wall and listened carefully. Sure enough, he could faintly hear the sounds of people chatting. This allowed Luo Feng to determine which room the two were in, and he quietly went outside. It should be this room. Luo Feng's spiritual force swiftly scanned the room. They're all just sitting there chatting? Luo Feng laughed. In the room, Zhang Ze, who was sitting on a broken sofa, while Li Xiao was wiping the machine gun in his hand. The two of them were still chatting. That Firehammer squad sure is cowardly. When they met us last time, they immediately ran back to the resupplying base. No wonder we couldn't find any traces of them before. Zhang Ze, who cursed. Zhang Ze, who cursed. Li Xiao laughed coldly. You can run away 1 time, but can you run away 15 times? Since they have a death grudge against us, then the Firehammer squad is dead for sure. Zhang Ze, who sneered. They want to fight against us? HM? Zhang Ze, whose face slightly changed. Li Xiao's face also slightly changed. I felt something just now. Zhang Ze, who looked towards Li Xiao. Li Xiao also nodded and frowned. Just now, I also felt my heart palpitate after living on the edge of life and death for so long. You'll have some sort of feeling when you encounter danger. Moreover, the reason why they felt it so clearly is because Luo Feng used his spiritual force to scan the area. When his spiritual force spreads out, normal people wouldn't be able to detect it. However, powerful martial artists would still be able to sense it. Could it be that there's a monster outside? Zhang Ze, who said quietly. Very likely, Li Xiao nodded. When we first came here, even though we cleared out all the monsters in the hotel, there might be a monster horde that entered the hotel Ka. Li Xiao wielded his machine gun, and Zhang Ze, who wielded his machete. The two of them stood up and walked towards the door. This room's lock has been corroded over the past few decades, so it's long broken. Zhang Ze, who lightly pulled, and the door opened. There wasn't even a shadow of a person or a monster outside the door. There's no sound. Zhang Ze, Hu, and Li Xiao looked at each other. After that, Zhang Ze, Hu took a deep breath and carefully prepared to take a look outside the door. At this moment, whoosh, whoosh, 2 rays of black light instantly appeared in front of Zhang Ze, Hu, and Li Xiao. One of the rays of black light instantly slashed across Zhang Ze, Hu's left arm, directly cutting it off. After cutting it off, the ray of black light didn't stop and instantly slashed across the gunner Li Xiao's neck, causing Li Xiao's head to be sent flying. And the second black light instantly slashed across Zhang Ze, Hu's throat. Poochie. Throat cut. Fresh blood sprayed out. Ugh, ugh. Zhang Ze, Hu's eyes widened, unable to make a sound. The 2 streaks of black light were too fast. Zhang Ze, who was probably only 1 to 2 meters away from the black light, while Li Xiao was only 3 to 4 meters away from the black light. Such a short distance. Under the speed of the black light, that was even faster than a sniper rifle bullet. How could they dodge in time? Maybe an advanced warlord has a sliver of life, but they don't even have a sliver of life. Ugh, Zhang Zhe, who wanted to speak, but couldn't make a sound. He wanted to press on his tactical communications watch, but his left arm was already cut off and his tactical communications watch fell to the ground. I'm going to die. How can I die? Zhang Zhe, whose right hand covered his throat as fresh blood crazily spewed out. He could clearly feel his life slowly slipping away. How can this be? How can this be? Suddenly, a shadow appeared in the doorway. He was wearing a fighter's battle uniform, with alloy battle boots on his feet and a shield and blade on his back. A pair of cold eyes stared at him. Ugh! Zhang Zhe, whose eyes instantly widened as he stared in disbelief at the fighter in front of him. It's Luo Feng. It's actually Luo Feng. It's actually the rookie he looked down on, Luo Feng. You go first. The other members of the Tiger Feng squad will quickly join you, Luo Feng's voice rang. Zhang Zhe, who opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but his throat was cut and his neck was leaking air, so he couldn't speak. And Zhang Zhe, who felt his vision go black. At this time, 2 black lights flew to Luo Feng's side and floated in front of him. They were 2 throwing knives. The 2 black throwing knives floated like this, and then landed in the knife sheath on Luo Feng's thigh. Zhang Zhe, who opened his eyes wide and wanted to say something, but his body trembled and he directly fell to the ground. Before he died, he finally discovered Luo Feng's big secret. Luo Feng was a spirit reader. Before he died, Zhang Zhe, who seemed to have seen the nightmarish future of all the members of the Tiger Feng squad. Silence. The only sound in the entire room was the drip-drip sound of blood dripping onto the floor. No other sound could be heard. The 2 corpses just laid there, and Luo Feng silently stood there as he watched. Zhang Zhe, who Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at this man. From the beginning, this Zhang Zhe, who thought he was an experienced fighter and Luo Feng was a rookie. So when they were negotiating for Zhang Haobai, he wasn't willing to lower his head at all. And back then, Luo Feng also awakened his spiritual force and was full of confidence. Plus, he was in the right, so why would he lower his head? Originally, this conflict was just a small matter. The one to blame was the Tiger Feng squad's sneak attack on the Firehammer squad, almost causing the entire Firehammer squad to die. Thankfully, Luo Feng saved everyone at the end. But even so, Zhang Ke still lost an arm. And so, the Firehammer squad clenched their teeth and wanted revenge. The Tiger Feng squad was afraid that their enemies would grow stronger, so they wanted to eliminate them completely. Both sides won't stop until one side is dead. Zhang Zhe and Li Xiao are dead. Only 4 of the 6 members of the Tiger Feng squad remain. Luo Feng stood at the door of the room and silently thought, when they come back and find out that these 2 were killed, they'll definitely be on guard. And they'll think of many things. Then, I'll set up this scene and confuse them. Whether or not it succeeds will be up to the heavens. Chapter 77. Luo Feng swiftly rushed down the stairs from the 6th floor all the way to the 1st floor and arrived at the back door of the hotel. Luo Feng looked around. There aren't any large monster hordes around. A bit troublesome, Luo Feng frowned. He could see a few monsters with a glance, but there weren't many of them, which didn't meet the requirements of his plan. Since he wanted the other 7 members of the Thunderbolt squad to believe that Zhang Zhe, Hu, and Li Xiao were killed by monsters. After that, Luo Feng sprinted along the alleyway. After running out of the alleyway, he saw a huge horde of horned boars not too far away. There were at least a few hundred of them. If a normal fighter saw them, they wouldn't even have time to hide, but Luo Feng let out a smile. That's them. Luo Feng swiftly approached. Howl. Many of the single-horned wild boars stared at this human martial artist, only to hear an angry roar coming from the herd of single-horned wild boars. This was the leader of this herd. Suddenly, the horde of horned boars spread their hooves and crazily charged towards Luo Feng. In an instant, the entire street started shaking. Rumble, the horde of boars charged. F***CK. I was planning on killing 1 or 2 monsters first to make them hate me even more. Who would have thought that they would catch up to me so easily? Luo Feng turned around and ran toward the alleyway. Rumble. The alleyway was quite wide, so the 2 horned boars could pretty much run side by side. Luo Feng ran in front while the horde of horned boars crazily chased behind. Poochie! Poochie! 2 black lights circled behind Luo Feng and returned to Luo Feng's side. Suddenly, one of the 2 horned boars in front died on the spot, and the other had a huge wound on its body. In an instant, the horde of horned boars roared even louder. They were clearly even more furious. The angrier, the better. Luo Feng was like lightning as he sprinted up the stairs from the back door of the hotel. Rumble. The horned boars crazily sprinted up one after another. The quality of this concrete staircase was quite good. Even after a few decades, it could still withstand the speed of the horned boars. Under Luo Feng's deliberate control, he was around 10 meters ahead of the horde and reached his destination. The 6th floor. On the 6th floor, under the control of Luo Feng's spiritual force, Zhang Zehu's machete and Li Zhao's machine gun floated in the air. The machine gun even had a long chain of bullets attached to it. The machine gun floated in front of Luo Feng, and so did the machete. Ow! The monsters rushed into the 6th floor like a flood. They immediately followed the hallway and madly rushed towards Luo Feng. Come! Luo Feng grinned, and a crazed look appeared in his eyes. He used his spiritual force to pull the trigger, and the thick barrel of the machine gun roared. Bullets crazily shot out and entered the body of the horned boar. Furthermore, the charging force of each horned wild boar was extremely exaggerated. The impact of bullets was simply unable to stop them. Poochie! Poochie! The hovering machete danced wildly, slicing through the throats of the horned wild boars one by one. These horned wild boars that had lost control crashed into the walls beside them. Rumble! The walls of the room collapsed and cracked. With the combined power of the machine gun bullets and machete, they managed to kill dozens of horned wild boars in one go. Their corpses littered the corridor. Howl! Followed by an angry roar. A gigantic horned wild boar with silver and black spots on its fur appeared. But at this time, the machete and machine gun fell beside the 2 corpses in the room. Luo Feng himself swiftly jumped down from the window of a room on the north side. Whoosh! Luo Feng sprinted down from the 6th floor like a bolt of lightning. He used his spiritual force on his bracers and created a supporting force, reducing the force of his descent. Luo Feng easily landed on the roof of a 2-story building. He swiftly sprinted, jumped into an alleyway, and quickly disappeared. Howl! The horned wild boars, who had lost dozens of monsters, were angrily rampaging through the dilapidated hotel, looking for that hateful human martial artist. They didn't find that human martial artist, but they found 2 delicious human martial artist corpses. These horned wild boars immediately started tearing at the flesh of the human corpses. To the horned boars, human flesh is indeed delicious. Even more horned boars started tearing at the corpses of the dead horned boars. For monsters that live in such a harsh environment, they rarely eat humans. Most of the time, they eat the corpses of other monsters. As wild monsters, it's normal for them to eat the corpses of their own kind. Soon, whether it's the human corpses or the horned boar corpses, they all turned into a pile of bones. Luo Feng returned to his original place and silently observed. Around 2 hours later, the 7 members of the Thunderbolt squad returned. Luo Feng finally saw the 7 people in his line of sight. That's right, the roars of monsters can be heard everywhere in number 003 city. The battle happened inside the hotel, and the Thunderbolt squad was a few miles away, so it's not strange that they didn't notice. At the entrance of the hotel, the 7 high-spirited members of the Thunderbolt squad smiled as they walked back. Young Master's blade was truly beautiful. It accurately sliced through the throat of that commander-level quick wolf. The Tiger Fawn captain smiled as he complimented. However, his smile suddenly froze. The Tiger Fawn captain looked towards the inside of the hotel. The other members of the Thunderbolt squad also looked towards the inside of the hotel. The smell of blood. The veteran named Lu directly walked into the hotel, and the others followed. The smell of blood is even thicker. A large-scale battle happened here. One or two monsters wouldn't have such a thick smell of blood. The Tiger Fawn captain frowned. The one-eyed middle-aged man on the side immediately pressed the tactical communications watch in his hand and yelled, "Tiger, Shao? Tiger, Shao, hurry up and reply." What happened? The faces of the four members of the Tiger Fawn squad changed. Captain didn't reply. The one-eyed middle-aged man looked towards the captain. Maybe they didn't notice the watch vibrating. The bald brute couldn't help but to say, "Fighters are so sensitive. How could they not notice it?" The Tiger Fawn captain said in a low voice, "Let's go up and take a look. Let's go up and take a look," said the veteran named Lu. The old man, surnamed Lu, said. Immediately, the seven of them arrived at the staircase. When they saw the marks on the staircase, their expressions changed. It was obvious that the staircase had just been trampled on. Many of the concrete and cement had been trampled until it was cracked. "All right, everyone be careful, carefully." The seven of them slowly moved forward. No matter how slow they were, it didn't take long for them to reach the 6th floor. The seven members of the Thunderbolt squad all sucked in a breath of cold air. The 6th floor of the hotel was clearly the most chaotic. It was a complete mess, and even some of the walls of the hotel rooms had collapsed. The floor was covered in blood, and there were also large amounts of corpses and bones. Most of them were the remains of monsters. The hearts of the seven members of the Thunderbolt squad sunk. They knew that Zhang Zehu and Li Xiao were probably dead. "Look, there's a hole in the wall. There's quite a bit of bullet casings here. It should be Xiao firing to stop the monster horde." Too bad, there were too many monsters. Everyone quickly found many traces. After a while, everyone saw the tattered battle uniforms, the slightly deformed machete that had been stepped on, the completely deformed machine gun, and a few human bones. Tiger's machete and Zhao's gun, these two battle uniforms. The battle uniforms were extremely sturdy. Even though they had been bitten by the horned boar and became tattered, they could still be seen. They were Zhang Zehu and Li Xiao's battle uniforms. How could this be? The bald brute couldn't help but grit his teeth. How could Xiao and the others be so unlucky to meet a monster horde in their room? "Let's go, we're going downstairs." The old veteran, named Lu, suddenly ordered. "Go downstairs." The one-eyed middle-aged man, the bald brute, and Ah Dong were all shocked, and then a trace of anger appeared on their faces. The Tiger Fawn captain frowned and roared, "All right, let's tidy up Tiger and Zhao's belongings. We're going downstairs." Since the captain said so, of course they wouldn't dare to refuse. After a while, the seven members of the Thunderbolt squad stood in the lobby of the 1st floor of the hotel. "Everyone should know," the Tiger Fawn Captain Panya said in a low voice, "with Tiger and Zhao's vigilance, even if a monster horde entered the hotel, the two of them had more than a 50% chance of escaping. Even if they couldn't escape, logically speaking, they should be able to notify us through their watches when they discover danger." The other members' faces slightly changed as they nodded. Right, the old veteran named Lu nodded. "The strange thing is that before they died, they didn't contact us. So I'm worried that someone purposely set this up and left a listening device at the scene. That's why I told everyone to go downstairs and discuss." The Tiger Fawn members couldn't help but look at the old veteran named Lu. To be able to instantly determine and make a decision, the older the ginger, the spicier. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that it's a commander-level monster. After discovering their tracks, they quietly ambushed them. After that, a large amount of monsters rushed up. In a chaotic situation, the two of them didn't have the chance to contact us. The old veteran named Lu said again. The four members of the Tiger Fawn squad looked at each other. The mixed youth had a worried expression on his face. The old veteran named Lu laughed in a low voice. "Don't worry, young master. Even if someone set this up, they wouldn't be targeting you. War God level fighters don't use these kinds of methods, and Warlord level fighters wouldn't dare to mess with young master. Senior Lu, for the sake of young master's safety, let's return to the headquarters city." The Tiger Fawn Captain Panya said.